Sporgy.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Si tú y tus amigos ordenan de McDonald's juntos, deja que los demás agarren su comida primero. Yo sé, el solo pensar en el olor de las papitas y tener que esperar para meter tu mano en la caja y sacar unas suena loco. Pero por regla, si eres la última persona que sostiene la bolsa, entonces las papitas que se cayeron al fondo de la bolsa son tuyas. La paciencia paga, amigos. Para pa pa pa.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Welcome to Sporgy, the show that gives you half-ass sports fans giving their half-ass opinions. And now, here are your hosts.
All right, here we are. It's day after Election Day. I'm Chris.
I'm Rich.
I'm the Iceman.
And, yeah, when last we met, we were pronouncing the Dodgers dead on arrival in the World Series. And wouldn't you know, L.A. finally pulls one out. No more being the Buffalo Bills of baseball. The Dodgers got themselves a World Series championship. What was the first one in, 32 years?
Yeah.
So this is what, the early 80s?
Since 88.
Oh, 88. Oh, that's, wow. 1988 was 32. I guess it was. Huh. So, yeah.
Who cares who won the World Series? Did you see that player run out on the field with COVID?
Yeah,
oh, my God.
Yeah, that's... Rich wasn't aware of that story. It's Justin Turner had an inconclusive COVID test. They reran it while he was playing. Comes back during the game. He gets pulled in the 8th inning because the test comes back positive. And then everyone loses their shit because he wants to run out and celebrate with his team after they win. I mean, I see the damage is done. You played 8 innings with everybody. If you're going to be exposed, they're exposed.
Well, not only that, but if they were so worried about it and it came back inconclusive, why didn't they pull him from the game until they had a conclusive test?
That was also
why
a
would
thought
they let
I
him
had.
play at all? Well, I'm not trying to get off on some like conspiracy shit, but I'm really starting to wonder about some of this bullshit with COVID. I'm like, really? Why the fuck we've been doing what we've been doing in the last 7 fucking months? Like, I'm starting to really wonder here. Because, I don't know, the precautions and the end results, they're not matching up. I mean, we went through the worst of it, March and April?
Mm-hmm. Well, now it's apparently we're bigger numbers than then.
Bigger numbers, but what are the fatality numbers compared to March and April?
Lower.
That's what I'm saying. We've already thinned the herd. We've had 7 months of thinning the herd.
Well, we figured out we have to protect the old people, which is kind of the mistake we made in March and April.
But it's just like, whatever. I mean, it is what it is, man. There's the NHL is apparently there's owners that are talking, well, let's just cancel the next season.
Why? You're like the one league that had no COVID.
Because they can't do a bubble for a whole season. And they got to cross international borders.
I'm starting to feel like that old commercial with that old lady in the Facebook wall. It's like, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. One day, the athlete has COVID, and then 10 days later, they don't have COVID. That's not how it works.
That's what I'm saying, man. I mean, Cam Newton was back before 2 weeks were up. What happened to 14 days of self-isolation?
Yeah, Donnie John was back on the campaign trail in like 9 days. Even left to do his little ride around the hospital and everything.
Alabama's coach, Nick Saban, same thing.
Didn't his tests end up coming back? Like, didn't he have a false positive? Didn't he have a positive test, and then everything else that came after, like the 3 tests he had after it, came back negative?
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, but I'm with Rich. It's like you can make somebody disappear for a week and just say COVID, and then after some few days, no, he's good. What?
Well, whatever. It is what it is, and I baseball attendance, like in person, has been dropping for a while now. I mean, I think baseball probably makes most of its money off of the television deals.
Yeah, the MLB did not need this. This did not help a problem they were already having.
Hockey, football definitely makes most of its money off of fucking its television, its broadcast rights. Which is amazing to me because you'd think that they would crack down a lot more on illegal streaming and shit like that of their fucking of their games than they do. Yet it's the NHL that, went nuts and was like, nope, you're gonna have to pay us fucking big money if you want to watch our fucking modified playoffs this year. And it's like, really? You're lucky that ESPN, first of all, I guess the NHL's contract with NBC is up or going to be up. And ESPN's throwing its fucking hat in the ring to get at least some games, some NHL games on ESPN and ESPN2. I don't know if now's the time to cancel the season. You know what I'm saying? Like you're fine. Like you finally, after what? It's been almost 20 years since ESPN ran off of the NHL, and they're finally going, yeah, why don't you come back? If we can get you for a price, yeah, we'll put your games on there. And now they want to cancel the season? I mean, I know this seems like we're not necessarily talking about the Dodgers. I'm just in the World Series. I'm just talking about everything except for pro football. Seems like there's a whole lot of question marks surrounding it about how next season's going to work. And I mean, if a guy who played 8 out of 9 innings in a game gets pulled and then goes back out, like what? How long could that last inning it took? Let's say it took an hour. So he's going to develop super COVID in an hour? It's going to super duper get people sick that, weren't going to get sick because they'd been around him for the previous 2 hours plus pregame and batting practice and everything else.
They were already around him for the majority of the day. The damage has been done. But I guess it was his coach was a cancer survivor, and he kissed his wife so he could get his kids sick.
But again, this is like the deadliest disease of our lifetime. You get this and you're screwed. You got to go on ventilators and you got to take so much medicine and don't touch anything or anybody. But some mystical way, these people that are star athletes, they're immune to it in under a week and they can't spread it.
It's not just quote unquote star athletes. There's been older fucking musicians, actors, actresses who've contracted it who seem perfectly fine. Unless we're being lied to. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think I'm thinking the two that come to mind right off the bat, Tom Hanks and his wife. Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson are not spring chickens. Like, they both have to be pushing 70. They got to be in their 60s. They have to be. Tom Hanks was damn near in his 30s when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, they had it. They seem fine.
How about DJT? He's 74.
And we know he ain't in the best fucking health.
And it's a shit diet.
Probably the most out-of-shape president we've had in my lifetime. I'm not even joking. Yeah. He's not that much smaller than Chris Christie. If you really see him when he's not wearing his suits and shit and doing his strange stand, lean forward and shit, you see him playing golf, you see him in tighter clothes. Homeboy's kind of a fat ass. I mean, that's just all there is to it. So, and I'm a fat ass.
Folks, we know fat asses.
We know fat asses. So it's like, that's where my concern is. What are they going to do? I mean, first of all, if you're the Dodgers, you have to be going, God damn it, why did we have to win it this year? I mean, I know there's going to be people on the Dodgers going to be like, we don't give a fuck. World Championship, World Series Championship, World Series Championship. Give a fuck if it's in the time of COVID or not. We still go down as champions.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh, yeah, it's like Justin Verlander with, why did I have to win it with the Astros?
But, I mean, at the same time, you got, all right, what are you going to do next season? You played 60 games in a modified playoff this year. Can't do that next year. This was just get the product out to people who were dying for it, were begging for it in any way possible. And they did it on very short time. They did not have a long run-up time to figure out everything. Now they do. And now I'm starting to hear shit like some NHL owners want to cancel the season. MLB owners and players, managers, people that work in with the team in the front office, bitching and complaining about this bubble shit. No, we can't do this for a whole season. Can't do it for a fucking whole playoff even. Not again. And there's been rumblings coming from the NHL players about that. I mean, shit, you had one of the best-known goalies in the NHL just walk the fuck out of the bubble and say, my daughter's sick, that's more important than playing hockey. Sorry. It was just the end of it right there. Boom. Done.
Well, you're right, Rich. It's not just high-paid athletes like the Dodgers. And when college teams have an outbreak of corona, they cancel a game that week, but then the next fucking week, they got to go play somebody else. Come on, man.
Well, unless you do what Wisconsin does and cancel for 2 weeks in a row. But I mean, I think that NFL aside, NFL is its own entity. It's like a platypus. Is it a mammal? It is, but it lays eggs? I don't understand. Okay, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's its own thing. Rest of the sports, they got to figure out what the fuck they're going to do. And they better figure it out soon, and they better fucking get a plan implemented, and they better stick to it.
An alert did come across. It says NBA and the Union near a deal for the new season, 22nd of December. It'll be a 72-game schedule. So, I mean, it's minus what, 9 games? So it sounds like the NBA is at least working towards it. Breaking news. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, then you got Bettman, former fucking NBA guy, running the NHL. He's done his best to copy the NBA for fucking decades now. Why don't you call up oh shit, who's the commissioner of the NBA now? Silver?
Yes. Looks like a ghost.
Yeah, why don't you call up fucking Auschwitz survivor Silver there and ask him, hey, so what are you guys doing? Because that's what we're going to do. You guys going to do the bubble thing again? You going to do, how you going to do this? How you going to do it? I thought NBA and NHL were the ones that handled it the best. And now all I hear is, NHL wants to cancel, owners want to cancel part of the season. Players are griping about being in the bubble. Apparently it wasn't as luxurious as they thought it should be. I don't know. I mean, did any of these people come from hard fucking backgrounds? That's what I mean. How hard is it to order room service for 2 months? I'm a sports fan, but I'm not an apologist for them. Toughen the fuck up. You're living in a fucking. You're not living in a in a pull up, park in front of your room motel. It's got hookers coming in and out by the hour on both sides of your room all day and night. Pretty sure you're living in one of the best fucking hotels they could put you up in. And the NBA was on the Disney property. Those Disney resorts, those are 5 fucking stars. So I don't know what the fuck they're bitching about. But they're not happy. So what are we gonna do?
That's because they had filet mignon and not the full-on fucking ribeye. I want the big fuck.
It's just then the one thing that we haven't even brought up: how many players? Let's just say, for the sake of argument, there's a FDA-approved vaccine available on the 1st of the year, okay? How many players are going to refuse to take it and go, but the risk is too high, I don't want to play? What do you start doing with those guys? Because it's all well and good when it's a guy that warms the bench. What happens when you get like a fucking Draymond Green or, a Steph Curry who goes, no, I don't trust that vaccine, but I'm not going to risk my life and my family's life and my ability to provide for my family to go play this game. Because once the NBA starts losing their fucking superstars to that bullshit, game over. Their ratings were in the toilet this year compared to previous years.
Some might say the worst ever.
Okay, they've pissed whether they did it, whether they're on the righteous side of the Angels or not. They took a stand on some social issues, and it cost them viewership. And there you go. You want to walk that righteous path? It's a hard path. It's full of stones, and you're barefoot. I don't want to hear you crying about, but wait a minute, everybody should love me because I'm walking this path. No. When you start fucking putting shit out there, it pisses off and offends half of your fucking fan base. You don't get to cry when half of your fan base walks away from you. You can, but that's not going to make any of them come back. And I know plenty of people who were almost all the way done with the NBA who are now like, I will never watch this shit again. They're like, just basketball, period. Like, done with the shit. The game's soft as fuck. Players soft as fuck. Owners have no spine. Management has no spine. And I mean, besides March Madness, What is there to watch in the college game? Unless your team is a handful of one of the teams that actually have a shot at winning the NCAA tournament, you really want to put yourself through that bullshit?
I mean, and no one. This was a hot topic a year ago, but no one's coming. I mean, the hypocrisy from the NBA. I mean, all summer, right? You're all about human rights, right? But remember when LeBron was defending China? China's not exactly known for being leaders in the human rights department.
I know, but somehow we live in a country where someone anonymously behind a fake account posting on Twitter saying at LeBron James, shut up and dribble, is equal to throwing gay people off of roofs or forcing families to make their mind up about, you can only have one child. So you're either going to have a daughter and your family name ends there, or you're going to have to abort your daughter and keep fucking and hope for a son eventually.
It's a sound policy.
Hey, Chris, do I get to live up to my nickname and tell you I called it everyone when we started talking about how the viewership went down? Or do I lose credit because it was COVID?
No.
Partly.
Because I'm willing to bet that social message, they'll never admit it, but I guarantee you that was part of it. You notice all of a sudden how the NFL has shut the fuck up about that shit.
Uh-huh.
It's still on the helmets, some of the helmets. It's gone from the end zones.
It's on the helmets, the fields, around the field.
No, it's off the field now. This field, the end zones were, this weekend, the end zone was telling you to vote.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing I'm not hearing is announcers constantly bringing it up and using a crowbar to interject some message in the middle of the bullshit. There's got to be a reason for that. Folks, if you've never dealt with the media, nothing is by chance. Nothing. It is not, believe me, and we're talking billions and billions of dollars these sports generate. They don't leave anything up to chance. That's why I think there's so many people in the sports world pulling their hair out over bullshit that would be non-stories any other season. But because of the season it is, hardly anyone in the stands. You can hear what's being said on the field. Mics being left open in the control booth. The whole thing with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman with the flyover. And they're like, how much money did that cost? Boy, if there's a Biden presidency, you ain't going to see that.
But dude, who's the shit intern who leaked that? That's...
All the Trump supporters were upset because, he's un-American. All the Biden supporters were upset because, he's calling Biden cheap.
Well, for me, who's the shit asshole that we're back to the people playing the gotcha game, right? Ooh, I'm gonna get them. They said some shit I disagree with. What? We are a nation of 5-year-olds.
What was said that was so wrong? It is expensive to have planes fly over a goddamn regular season NFL game.
And then it's taxpayer money.
All right, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that Joe Buck and Troy Aikman have probably paid more in taxes than 99% of the people that were watching that game. So if you want to get right down to brass tacks, they got more of a right to bitch about it than you do, because some of their tax money might have actually made it into that flyover. The little cunt hair of your little pathetic paycheck that you work so hard for, it ain't making it to national defense. There ain't enough there. So you try to drive cross country with $5 worth of gas in your tank. It ain't happening.
These people spend more money on vacation than people make in a lifetime.
But rich people don't pay their fair share, guys. Anyway, it's just
well, but then, I'm glad you brought that up, because this is. To get back to the whole one of the stats that I found interesting, and I read it right after we did the last show, and we basically were fucking throwing dirt on the casket of the Dodgers, and I was like, damn, maybe we shouldn't have done that. It was like literally that night after we recorded that show, or the next morning. I'm reading this stat: 2 of the Dodgers players' salary for this season can cover all of Tampa Bay's team's salary. For this season. And it's like,
they should fucking win.
Kinda. It's like the old Doug Stanhope bit. Like, if you live in New York and you root for the Yankees, you're a faggot. You don't have any backbone. You're a bitch. That's like going to a casino and rooting for the fucking house.
Yeah.
Of course they should fucking win. They spend 5 times more than everybody else. What are you excited about? They did the very least they could do. If they should win every fucking year. So you should be pissed when they don't win every fucking year. Stop celebrating every 5 years when they win and get pissed off and stop going to games for the 4 years they don't. But I was like, damn, man. It's been a minute where there's that big of a discrepancy in one team's payroll and the other team's payroll. I mean, that's
like 0-2 Red Wings.
Yeah, but those 2 Red Wings had to go through teams that had payrolls that were pretty much that big too. I'm thinking Vancouver was spending quite a bit of money, gave them a run for their money in 2002. God knows the Avalanche were spending money. Avalanche are the ones that escalated the fucking arms race, if you really want to get down to it, when they fucking traded for Bork to go out there. Threw the fucking Brinks truck at him.
But I even remember having the feeling like, man, we're being the Yankees of hockey right now. But I don't give a fuck, because this is awesome.
Yeah, but
I think the Dodgers had the better pitching staff myself. I don't care what it costs.
Well, duh.
Yeah, I mean, who was their rotation? I mean, besides that, Clayton Kershaw was in it. Stand by.
Top of my head. Yeah, it ain't coming top of my head.
Come on, Google, let's go. Actually, it's more. Come on, Chris's computer, let's go. David Price, Clayton Kershaw.
God, David Price is really... I do not like that guy.
Most people don't.
Like, that guy...
Like as a pitcher or as a human being?
Both. Because his attitude bleeds over into his performance. He was all butthurt when he was traded here to Detroit.
Yeah, he was... There was no love lost when he left. He's like, I want to go. And we were like, we want to let you.
Yeah, he showed up here and basically had such a piss-poor attitude that it spilled over onto the field. Then he went to fucking Boston. And... you know, Dennis Eckersley is one of he's their version of, here in Detroit, if you follow hockey, we have Mickey Redmond, former Red Wing, unabashed homer for the team. He's the color guy. That's what Dennis Eckersley is for the Red Sox. And he was trying to pick a fucking physical fight with Dennis Eckersley on the goddamn team plane coming back from a fucking, from an away series. And it's like, dude, you landed in one of the best baseball cities there are right now. Why are you throwing shit like a monkey on acid at the zoo in this situation? Shut the fuck up, sit the fuck down, wait for every 5th day, go out there, pitch how you know we know you're capable of pitching, and win yourself a World Series.
Man, get your fucking ring, yeah.
Like, the guy is just an asshole. Like, look, when Mike Piazza got traded from the Dodgers to the Marlins, he did not want to be there. He did not want to be on the Marlins. And you can see it in his body language and everything. That's how come they got him the fuck out of there as quick as possible. If he didn't want to, if Price got traded to Detroit and didn't want to be in Detroit and basically pouted his way out of town, yeah, he wouldn't be high up on my list of people that I'm a big fan of. But if he went to his next destination and was like, well, I'm in a position where I'm with a great team, they're willing to pay me what I'm asking for, I have a chance to win, I have nothing to bitch about. Well, then this was just an aberration that he came here and he didn't want to be here. Fine, whatever. But he's not that guy. He seems like he's one of those guys that's just wanting to sow hate and discontent wherever he goes. And it's a good thing I'll tell you what, David, because I know you're one of our dedicated listeners, you better hold on to your talent, because once that goes, no one's going to put up with this bullshit, dude. It's like a hot bitch who hits the wall. I don't care how hot you were when you were 20. You're 40, you're fugly, and you're a mouthy cunt. You better fucking buy some cats and find a spin cycle to fucking park your ass on, because that's the only orgasm you're going to have.
The internet says Price is on the Dodgers, but you look at their was he not a starting pitcher?
Mm. Dude, be honest with you, this
Walker Buehler,
season
Julio Urias, Clayton Kershaw, and 2 other dudes, Alex something and not David Price, were the starting lineup in the starting 5 in the World Series. Google says he's on the team.
Yeah, he's still on the Dodgers.
So is he not even starting now?
Whatever.
He's an asshole. I'm sorry.
I think it's amazing though. I'm sitting here. I'm looking at his. Drafted in 2007 by the Devil Rays, when they were still the Devil Rays. Made his MLB debut in 2008. So he's got 12, 13 seasons under his belt. He's 35, making $30 million a year. How many World Series has he won?
2, right?
I'm thinking so. No, just one. He didn't win one with Boston.
He did, I swear I thought he would win.
No, he did. He did win one with Boston. So then, yeah. So I don't understand here. What's the issue? Why is him and Mookie Betts went to Dodgers for 3 players in cash. Oh, here it is. On July 4th, 2020, Price announced that he would not play during the shortened season amidst the pandemic.
Oh, so he didn't play this. Okay.
So technically, I don't even know if since he wasn't with the team at all, I don't know if that's a technicality, meaning he's even considered.
Yeah, like, do you get a ring if you opted out? I mean, you technically have to be on the roster, right?
I can tell you this. Wikipedia, which is Wikipedia, so whatever. Take it for what it's worth. Doesn't have him listed as a 2020 World Series champion. Let me check Baseball Reference. I mean, if he sat,
it doesn't even have him as a team member. It says the last team he was on was the Boston Red Sox in 2019.
Yeah, looking at Baseball Reference. Yep. They got some simulated stats for him, but that's it.
So wow, that's they won without you, buddy. How does that make you feel?
Oh.
Clayton Kershaw and a cast of no names.
Now here's my question. I ain't worried about the Dodgers because they're the Dodgers and. Whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah, we got some local baseball news.
My question is, I was going to get to that in a second, but
that's where I thought you were going. My bad.
If you're Tampa, what do you even do? If you're the general manager or the manager of Tampa, how do you try to spin this shortened season with a deep playoff run where you ultimately lost the World Series and go, we got to carry this momentum in the next season, even though we don't know what next season is going to be like at the moment. So you're trying to plan for something that you have no idea what you're planning for. You see what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm wondering. Like what happens next for a team like them? Because I don't think their payroll's going up anymore. Not significantly. I mean,
are they just running out the lease on their stadium so they can move?
I kind of thought that's what was going on because one of the last times we had Todd on, he was talking about they don't even play at their home stadium some home games. And I'm like, what? How the fuck does that work? So if that's the case, does that team not want to be there in Tampa anymore? I mean, kind of a shitty way to fucking if you're trying to tank your way out of town, going to the World Series ain't the way to do it.
Yeah. It's the complete opposite of what you need to be doing.
Sporgy.
ChristopherMedia.net.
If you look around, you'll see the world can be pretty smart. Okay, very smart. At Capella University, we think education should be smart too. That's why we're reshaping online learning with our FlexPath format. You can set your own deadlines, take classes at your own pace, even leverage your previous experience to move faster. So when it comes to earning your bachelor's degree, you know what kind of choice to make. A smart one. Visit capella.edu to learn more. Capella University. Don't just learn smarter. If you look around, you'll see the world can be pretty smart. Okay, very smart. At Capella University, we think education should be smart too. That's why we're reshaping online learning with our FlexPath format. You can set your own deadlines, take classes at your own pace, even leverage your previous experience to move faster. So when it comes to earning your bachelor's degree, you know what kind of choice to make. A smart one. Visit capella.edu to learn more. Capella University. Don't just learn smarter. Look in your home. Look in your office. Look in your home office. Everywhere you turn, there's so much smart. At Capella University, we think education should be smart too. Our game-changing FlexPath format puts you in control of your master's degree, so you can learn how, when, and where you want. Smart, huh? Yeah, we think so too. So if you want to take the next step in your career, make Capella your first step. Visit capella.edu to learn more. Capella University. Don't just learn smarter.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Masspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Masspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Sporgy.
It doesn't matter because the Tigers are going to win the World Series next season. Because, hey, AJ Hinch.
You know, I'll give it to the Illiches and Al Avila, the general manager. You got balls.
I don't hate that move. I really don't.
I did until I heard the interview with him, with AJ Hinch. He did an interview on the local sports talk station with the morning show and shied not at all away from any question about the situation with the Astros. He was like, yep, when I found out about it, I should have immediately went to my general manager, went to the owner. Look, there's players that are pulling this. This is what they're doing. I now know their system, blah, blah, blah. I didn't. I kept my mouth shut. And because I did that, I understand there's people that are never going to forgive me. And I'm sitting here like, he's saying all the right things. Because how often do people take responsibility for their fuck-ups anymore? Especially in public.
Never.
It's the well-crafted and well-worded apology, non-apology, usually is what you get. The I'm sorry, but is I like to call it.
Well, I think with him, that's the only play you have coming back into baseball. I mean, let's be honest. If you're him, you're lucky you're getting another coaching. You're lucky you're getting another head coaching job, let alone a coaching job, period, in Major League Baseball. I think with him, that's the only play. Is my bad. You know what? I knew I didn't do anything. I'll take it's the only way you salvage your professional career.
Yeah, usually you get the shaggy defense. It wasn't me.
Not with this. Not when there were so many people in on it, and it was and you know that team dodged 100. That team dodged 100 more games of getting thrown at with this shortened season. He's a good manager. He knows how to win. It's the best manager we've had here probably since what's his name? Jim
Leland.
Yeah.
Leland?
And before that, it was Sparky.
Mm-hmm.
I know you. I want to meet the person who's going to try to make a case for Buddy Bell being one of the best managers since Sparky, but I know they ain't on this fucking podcast.
Right. Nope.
But I mean,
well, if you want to talk about managers, look at White Sox. How you doing?
Well, we'll get to that in a second. Here's my thing with AJ Hinch. And I always go back to this because I remember it like it was yesterday, sitting in that tire shop, picking up that Sports Illustrated in 2014 with Max Scherzer on the cover and waiting for him to get in my car. And I read the whole article and I was like, so how much longer? They're like, oh, it's going to be a minute. Sorry, man. It's going to be like another 45 minutes. All right. What other articles they got in here? Oh, article on the Astros and what they're doing and how they flat out said in 5 years we want to be in the World Series. And we got the manager we think that they can do it. We have the young talent we think we can do it. We think he can help this young talent. When we're ready, we'll trade for some fucking veteran pieces and we'll make our run. And that's exactly what they did. And that was, when did the Astros win the World Series?
Last year? Or the year before?
It was last year.
Yeah, no, it wasn't last year because that's when the scandal came out. We were talking about would they have to vacate it. Yeah.
Right, and then this year, COVID happened, and people were like, they didn't give a shit about the Astros.
Yeah, 2017 is they won in 2017, and yeah, did they have to vacate it? Was that what it was?
No, I don't think
for 2000.
I don't think they vacated anything.
Found out the Astros did use cameras and video monitors to steal signs. Blah 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 blah. Manfred announced that manager AJ Hinch and general manager Jeff Luhnow were suspended for 1 year. The team would be fined $5 million. The team would lose his top 2 draft picks. About an hour after announcement, Jim Crane, Astros owner, announced he had terminated both Hinch and Luhnow, saying he was unaware of the scheme and extraordinarily troubled and upset. Need to move forward. Blah 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 blah.
No, last season was the Dodgers. Or no, my bad. The Nationals.
Yep. So 2017. That's the year they won. Okay. Mm-hmm. So 14, 15, 16, 17, 4 seasons after that interview was given, they said it was going to take 5. They did it. So if AJ Hinch can turn around the Tigers in 4 years without a scandal like that, fine. Here's my problem. You got the shortest leash of any leash I've ever seen anybody on in my entire life.
Yeah.
If I even think for 1 second you're out there doing something even just a little bit unscrupulous, gotta go. Sorry, because this is my concern. How many teams are going to take out on the players at bat for the Tigers their anger at Hinch? Because it ain't over with. Believe me, that shit is far from over with. You had a whole lot of teams who wanted to get their beanballs in who couldn't see the Astros this season.
Oh, it ain't over, motherfucker.
No, not at all. So that's
you didn't see that sign coming, did you?
So I mean that's like that shit could get old, and that shit could really fucking upset a franchise real quick, because it depends on how the majority of the players in the locker room take it. If they take it as, we didn't do this, you're mad at our manager, but we like our manager, fuck you, then they can do some, and Hinch can do some, Belichick, like, installing that chip on your shoulder about the shit. That might help them. But if their attitude is, well, we're getting fucking out here getting thrown at 100 miles per hour fucking fastballs to the head because of this fucking cocksucker, and we didn't even win a World Series. It didn't even involve us. Fuck him and fuck the Astros. It ain't gonna work out that well. So yeah, that's what I'm concerned about as far as on field. What are the repercussions going to be? And I know baseball like tried to crack down on that Dodgers pitcher. Gave him like what five game suspension, which in a 60-game season is like giving someone in a 162-game season like a fucking month suspension. But it's like you can't have that. What happens when you get a bunch of fucking a bunch of star players who are now sitting out for fucking 2, 3, 4 weeks at a time because they were throwing it at guys on the Dodgers or guys on the Tigers because fucking Hinch being hired as their manager? Baseball ain't gonna have that. I bet you those suspensions start getting lighter and lighter the more and more of a star the person is who's doing the throwing at another player.
And this isn't the baseball of old where pitchers, that can throw really fucking fast. They're far and few between. Back in the day, you had the rocket and you had the big unit, and you were like, all right, we're going to be scared if they throw at me. Nowadays, everybody can throw hard.
Yeah, the only thing I'd say is back in the day, they were a lot meaner. I mean, if you showed up Bob Gibson on the mound after you fucking hit a dinger off of him, you might as well just take first base. You're next at bat. Just walk from the batting circle to first base because he's throwing at your head. I mean, Don Drysdale used to write down the names of guys who homered off of him on the inside or the underside of the bill of his hat. And when a guy would come up, he'd check, and if his name was on there, he's getting drilled. He's not getting a chance to beat me again. And that was common knowledge. Now, can you imagine this shit nowadays in the game? They found out some player had a hit list on the underside of the brim of his hat. Oh shit! And then if it's a white pitcher,
he'd be in front of Congress.
That's what I'm saying. It's a white pitcher, and anybody on that list isn't a white male. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's there's a Venezuelan guy in there, there's a black guy in there. There's oh shit. Yeah, he'd be in front of Congress, and next thing you know, they'd have him up in fucking public square, strung up. He threw at him because he's racist.
And when Randy Johnson got mad, he just took it out on the fucking birds.
But yeah, and then in a move that I do not, there's some very weird shit. You started to bring it up, but that's the reason I said give me a second. We'll get to it because there's some weird shit surrounding this White Sox hiring of Tony La Russa.
The ghost of Tony La Russa. I don't understand that. The guy was all retired.
First of all, he's like what, 76?
Yeah.
How long do you think he's going to coach for? Or he's going to manage for? I mean, let's be serious. How long did Gardenhire manage? 2 seasons? 2 seasons? That's it? I mean, they brought Leland in the tail end of his 50s, and he didn't even last a decade. You're bringing a guy in who's like within pissing distance of 80.
He may not live to see spring training, just saying.
And he's not the Phil Jackson of baseball either.
No, people tend to forget that before he was with the White Sox from 79 until 86 or 87. Then he went to Oakland, where he was basically given the reins of a team that was a can't-miss team. And then, hindsight being what it is, we know that team was roided out of their fucking minds. One of the first fucking teams to do so. Yeah, I mean, dude, look at that. Eckersley, Dave Stewart. I mean, McGuire, Canseco, that's a given. I mean, you had some serious fucking talent pitching. You had up and coming guys who would be perennial all-stars starting their career. I mean, it's like he still only got one World Series win out of that team. Lost it in '88 to the Dodgers. Won it in '89. That was the Earthquake World Series. So hardly anything big was made about it because all anyone ever talks about the '89 World Series is the earthquake. But beat the Giants in '89. Excuse me. And then lost to the Reds in '90.
I have not seen a picture of this man in a while. He looks old as fuck.
Yeah, then he goes to St. Louis, one of the best baseball towns in the fucking world. They basically fucking make a trade to give him Mark McGwire back, and he didn't win any World Series with the Cardinals in St. Louis.
He spent a decade and a half there. Yeah, he didn't win shit.
I mean, dude, it's not like you're bringing back fucking Tommy Lasorda. You know what I'm saying? You're not bringing back like like you said, the Phil Jackson of baseball managing.
No, that would be the Yankees manager.
I have to do an in-show correction. He got two World Series with the Cardinals, 2006, 2011.
He was still there in 2011?
Yep.
Holy shit.
And I know why I blocked out 2006. Because of who they won it against. We don't talk. 2006 ended with Maglio's home run. We don't talk about that.
Right. He was the That's right. That's right. Yeah, I was still 20-something in 2006. I was just popping out of my alcoholic haze that I'd been in for half a decade, about 2006.
But still, man, here's what really doesn't make any sense. The rumors were swirling that it was Hinch going to go to the White Sox. And then the White Sox announced, no, we got La Russa. Yet when they aired the contract, it was a contract signed by A.J. Hinch. And I'm like, what the fuck happened behind the scenes that we don't know about? And is that why AJ is now managing the Tigers? Because he was like, oh, the White Sox want to fuck with me? Okay, I'll drive 3.5 hours east and go fucking get a team that can fuck with them.
Or was there a fucking hero in their front office? We can't sign him. I could see that happening too.
Yeah.
He messed with the integrity of the game. He knows how to win, bitch. It's like we'll get to it with football, like with Antonio Brown. Hey, think what you want. Motherfucker's good.
And I know it was a long time ago, but I mean, they used to be the Black Sox. Now they're the White Sox. They had not just, 7 guys banned for life from baseball, vacate a world. Well, they didn't win that World Series. They threw it. That was part of the problem there. But I mean, like vacate wins, like erase records from the record books.
I mean,
and then they go, you better change your name too, because you kind of got to, Black Sox sound like the bad guy. Oh, we're the White Sox now. Really? You can't be like the Azure Sox. You had to go like the most basic bitch thing you could be, the White Sox from the Black Sox.
Well,
okay.
Whatever. I'm sidetracking the conversation, but while we're in this realm, have we ever had this conversation on this show? Now that sports betting's legal, do we do right by Pete Rose?
No, he's still banned. Fuck him.
I mean, like, there's states that legalize pot and they're like retroactively, like
starting to let people out of prison.
You're taking weed offenses off records, right? Sports betting's legal now. I mean, what's the big deal with Pete Rose? Because
he did it while it was illegal.
Oh yeah, I know.
He's still banned.
Well, no, he was betting against his own team or on his own team. I understand.
No, he never bet against him. According to him, and whatever bookies
that he said,
whatever bookies and casinos were willing to talk to anybody on the record or off the record, actually, yeah, they all said the same thing. He never bet against his own team. He bet for his team to win, but he never bet against his own team. And he was a player manager at one point.
And I'll say that we know of, that anyone will say.
That's what you have to add because, whatever. I don't want to get into it. Look up the quote by fucking Rumsfeld about what's known and known unknowns, okay? And that convoluted shit show of a fucking quote explains everything that I don't want to get into. But it's baseball, dude. Baseball, when Todd was on, he was like, they don't let everyone into the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's not the NFL Hall of Fame. It's like, I got your point, but They don't let people in the Baseball Hall of Fame over some pretty bullshit fucking Ricky Tic Tac fucking reasons too.
It's this vaunted institution. It's America's pastime. Well, I have news for you. Not anymore. And my example right now is I said it last show. The NFL lost nothing to coronavirus. We now know who America's pastime is. Everyone else had to stop and start again. Baseball had to fucking slash their season. They only played 37% of their games. The NFL missed nothing. So baseball, I don't know where all this reverence and shit is coming in, because you are not the institution you used to be.
Well, let me ask you guys this. Is Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, or Mark McGwire, are any of them in the Hall of Fame?
No.
They won't be for a while.
But they will be. Or is that what you're saying?
Maybe when the older generation who actually remembers when they played dies off and their influence as sports reporters starts to die off, maybe. See, here's the thing with baseball. Baseball lends itself to melancholy, to reminiscing, to appreciation for tradition. More so, I think, than any other sport, really. And these are things now that are considered stupid in American society. Like, what have we been doing for this last decade, culturally and socially as a country, but trying to just uproot every tradition that we have, throw it out the fucking window, and install new ones? I mean, you have people go, why are we doing it? Well, we've always done it this way. Well, it's stupid. Well, they're not the type that are going to be attracted to baseball for those reasons. And a lot of these writers, man, they still romanticize that shit. You got the energy. You come down with the coronavirus. Cherished listeners, and you got a week to kill. Watch the Ken Burns baseball documentary. Watch how those people talk about baseball. They talk about it with reverence. We love the fact that it's a unique sport, that it does not have a clock, that the offense controls the ball or the defense controls the ball. Everything that makes baseball unique, they love. And a lot of it is based on tradition. And we are not a society that appreciates tradition anymore. So I think those old reporters are going to have to die off. And younger reporters are going to have to come in and go, everybody was on fucking roids. Fernando fucking Vina tested positive for roids, and he's never going to even sniff the jockstrap of a Hall of Famer.
Well, Rich, you said exactly where I was going, and I think it's something that you've brought up on this show in the past. Once people will finally admit and say out loud that there is a steroid era in baseball, that's when those guys get into the Hall of Fame. Once we can drop the pretense and finally admit that there was a steroid era, and it lasted about 25, 30 years, that's when you'll finally see those guys going.
I mean, look, if you look back at a book like Ball 4 and the fallout of that book, I mean, that was a guy who was on teams in the 50s and 60s with the Yankees. And
that's back when they just gave you straight up meth and, hey, these are pep pills.
Yeah, greenies. Yeah, they literally would make, like, put half a tin of coffee grounds into one pot of coffee and then drop a fucking fistful of fucking speed into them and just keep it going to the guys the minute they walked into the clubhouse and the minute they left to go home. I mean, like, that shook the baseball world to its core. Between that and the stories of them going out and getting drunk and fucking anything that would sit still long enough with two tits, a hole, and a heartbeat is what made people flip the fuck out about that book. Now it's like, of course fucking they were using speed. Of course athletes are fucking man whores. Wouldn't you be? I mean, let's be honest. If you are Rich, Earl, or Chris, the janitor at the local school, you ain't getting Carmen Electra and Jenny McCarthy calling you going, we're having a dick sucking contest. We want you to judge it. But if
you're in her fantasies.
But if you're Derek Jeter, you're getting that phone call
every Tuesday.
And every Tuesday it's two different women.
Yeah.
In fact, from what I heard yesterday, it was Scarlett Johansson and Jordana Brewster. So, that's not a bad combo right there.
Fucking Jeets.
But no, seriously, I feel this way. Call it the steroid era. Put it in the Hall of Fame. Own it. Yep. There was widespread cheating in the sport. Yep. This is a sport that's now been happening for over 100. It's been in existence in one form or another as we know it for over 150 years. This league, the American League, is 120 years old. National League's even older than that. You have a long history. There's going to be scandals in that history. Own it, point out what wasn't done at the time that allowed the situation to arise, show what baseball did and is still doing to do their best to keep it out of the game, move the fuck on.
And you can take that they violated the sanctity of the game bullshit with you, because I will always argue this. Babe Ruth only played against fat, out-of-shape white guys. The purists love Babe Ruth, and they love his records. Well, he didn't play against everybody. Nobody likes talking about that.
Yeah, what was it? We did it on the show here when Todd was on. We were talking about shit. Oh, who's the catcher? Josh Gibson.
Yeah.
And if you adjusted for the level of pitching in Major League Baseballs versus the Negro Leagues, and how much more he would have played if he played in the majors from the beginning of his career to the end of his career, he'd have been on record to shatter Barry Bonds' all-time home run record. And this before anyone knew what anabolic steroids were. That was just steak and potatoes and just pure fucking country strong, sending those balls out of the park. So, I mean, yeah. And on top of that, then they did the same thing to Maris and Mantle when they were chasing Ruth's single-season home run record. They have 10 more games. They actually put an asterisk next to Maris's record for like a decade or so afterwards. You'd look up the record book, there'd be an asterisk. And they'd say, Ruth did it in 150 games, he did it in 162. So do that. Don't you want the best people from the game in the Hall of Fame? I mean, let's be honest. Barry Bonds was going to make the Hall of Fame before he ever fucking took a steroid.
Well, that's what I was looking up. Apparently not if he cheated or brought any dishonor to the game, because Pete Rose ain't in there. The Rocket isn't in there. Barry Bonds isn't in there. Canseco, McGuire, Sosa, Mark Romero, none of them are in.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what. Sosa was never going in. McGuire was probably never going in. Canseco definitely was never going in. And he, out of those three, he probably had the most legit argument to get in because he was the first ever 40-40 guy. 40 steals and 40 home runs in a season. So that was power and speed. Like, that's very unusual in baseball for a power hitter to be able to fucking book on the base path like that. And I mean, Roger Clemens, without a doubt, should be in there. But see, Andy Pettitte ain't in there either. And he was Clemens' fucking steroid buddy on the Yankees and the Astros. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're basically putting on blinders to an entire fucking generation of players because, well, I mean, and to be honest, at the beginning, what they were doing wasn't illegal. It wasn't against the rules. The first time some fucking beat reporter with the A's saw creatine in Mark McGuire's locker and asked him about it, he said, yeah, I went, it's a weightlifting supplement. You can go buy it at fucking GNC. It was only later that MLB banned all that shit. So where do you start? I mean, if you look at McGuire's rookie season, he was nowhere near the monster he was by the end of his career, but he hit 49 home runs. Damn near broke Babe Ruth's rookie record for home runs in a rookie season.
I think most people's problem, like my problem with it, was there was quite the chasm in his home run production. Like, it was... He started off with a bang, and then he just kind of leveled off, and then you didn't hear about him. And like when he showed up in that home run chase, I remember we were going to Specs together. About when it started, I remember having the thought of, like, that motherfucker's still playing? I didn't think he was still even in the league.
See, he was one of my favorite players growing up when he was on the A's. And I followed his career into the 90s, even though I kind of fell off of baseball there for a few years. But
got distracted by hockey.
Well, that and pussy and partying and music and life and yeah, so bunch of shit. But
after part B, part A.
But I mean, like, he had a solid career. He was a fucking power hitter. He was a serviceable first baseman. I mean, he wasn't great. I mean, he wasn't gonna fucking get into the Hall of Fame based off his fucking glove at first base.
He was a big pile of average for like most of the 90s, and then all of a sudden at the end, he's a fucking legend. Like that to me, that's what made me go like, oh, what's going on with this guy? And then also his head was huge. Like he looked like a different person at the end of his career, like a completely different person. Like remember his rookie year, he's all skinny and shit.
Popeye arms.
His rookie year, he was a skinny, wiry guy.
I don't know, man. I had that '84, his true first baseball card with Topps. It was the '84 Olympic team, and it was like a shot from mid chest up, and his neck was still damn near about as big as, like, I ain't gonna say me or Earl's thigh, but about as big as your thigh. That motherfucker had a thick ass neck. I mean, like, he had the build, he just took the shortcut. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
like you can just see guys who got a big frame, and if they work out, you're like, oh, I ain't fucking with that motherfucker. You see how broad his shoulders are? Now imagine if he actually put some work behind those shoulders. Fuck that. That was always Mark McGwire to me. But I mean, once again, he was one of, I guess what I'm saying is, growing up, I always, and to this day, I like those lunch pail players. I'm not really into the prima donnas. You know, it's one of the reasons that, like, in baseball, I've never really had like a favorite pitcher. Like, the closest I've had ever to a favorite pitcher is Verlander, because that motherfucker's got a bulldog mentality. Don't get me wrong. If I had been alive and deep enough into baseball to watch, like, Bob Gibson, Nolan Ryan, guys like this in their prime, oh, yeah. Oh, I'd have loved that shit.
Verlander's almost got a wife who looks rocking hot naked.
Now, see, Randy Johnson was always my favorite pitcher. That motherfucker was nothing but business on that field. I've seen him wave off coaches and catchers from coming to the mound and watched him turn the fuck around. I was like, okay.
Hey, he was also partying back.
Well, let me tell you something. Any baseball player who's been around true, real talent that's a pitcher knows that you got to drag almost any pitcher off that mound. Any pitcher who just hands you the ball like, oh, okay, you win. And I don't know if I want that guy on my team. I want the guy I got to be like, look here, man. We got this. We'll finish it for you. No, I got it, Skip. Nah, man. Nah. You're at 140 pitches and it's the sixth inning. Go sit down.
Listen, like, there's a six-pack with your name on it, okay?
There's this big titty blonde chick named Kate something. She says she wants to toss your salad. I don't know. Maybe you want to go see about that. I mean, at that point, fucking, I don't give a fuck who you are. You're coming off the mound.
And not for nothing, Justin, it's you or me. Salad's getting tossed. Are you leaving or what?
So, to bring it back around, because we definitely took a fucking big-time detour talking about La Russa by getting into all these fucking cheating motherfuckers he's coached. Like, what is the end game here? Is this a stopgap measure like they did with Gardenhire, like Detroit did with Gardenhire? Like, this is so our fan base will be like, well, we hired a proven winner and a name here in Chicago who has respect. Now back the fuck up office for a couple of years while we try to figure out how to rebuild this mess. Because that's the only thing I can think of that they're doing it for.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I thought it was. I'm like, there's no way that they were like, all right, we're rebuilding, and who's going to be their captain? La Russa, what's he doing? Yeah, let's bring him in.
Yeah, let's bring the guy who might not make it to spring training.
Because I truly believe with Tigers bringing in Gardenhire for those few years like they did, that was their way of trying to, like, you know, keep the hardcore fan base, keep their interest while they stocked up on their farm system talent, which they now have a lot of. I mean, they got quite a lot of young guys in that system who show a lot of promise. And I think they hired Hinchcliffe, like, now's the time to, you know, water the promise. You know, we went out and did it. We drafted as well as we could. Now we got to bring in a guy who can actually guide these guys to the majors and to success. Because I mean, I'm sorry, if I'm a general manager of the White Sox, I ain't looking at La Russa for fucking. What's your 5-year plan? Don't die.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm more concerned about a 5-month plan. Like, let's just start with months.
How about this? How about
that? Let's get through spring training.
Yeah, will you be here in April?
How about okay, Tony? We need you to go to Sam's Club. You can wear a mask. We need you to walk in the front door, walk the entire perimeter of Sam's Club inside, walk out, and then get tested for the next week for Corona. And if you don't test positive or you test positive and make it through it, we'll see about giving you a job.
Right. Sporgy.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Look in your home. Look in your office. Look in your home office. Everywhere you turn, there's so much smart. At Capella University, we think education should be smart too. Our game-changing FlexPath format puts you in control of your master's degree, so you can learn how, when, and where you want. Smart, huh? Yeah, we think so too. So if you want to take the next step in your career, make Capella your first step. Visit capella.edu to learn more. Capella University. Don't just learn smarter. Look in your home. Look in your office. Look in your home office. Everywhere you turn, there's so much smart. At Capella University, we think education should be smart too. Our game-changing FlexPath format puts you in control of your master's degree, so you can learn how, when, and where you want. Smart, huh? Yeah, we think so too. So if you want to take the next step in your career, make Capella your first step. Visit capella.edu to learn more. Capella University. Don't just learn smarter.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Sporgy.
Hey, one more thing about La Russa real quick. We were talking about all the cheaters he coached. I got to get your honest opinion. Yes or no? Is Albert Pujols a steroid abuser or not?
Yes. As soon as everybody got caught, he stopped producing. You could see it in his numbers.
I would say so. I mean, I have no proof. He's never been popped with a random test and caught red-handed, but
he's never even been accused. He's never been looked at like that. But I looked at it and I was Albert Pujols, and then everybody was like, steroid user, steroid
That year
user.
where Ryan Howard got caught and a bunch of people that was the year everyone got caught. Pujols didn't go down in that, but you can see it in his numbers after that season. He's just nothing. He stopped producing. All of a sudden, he's Albert the old guy.
And as far as no one accusing him, maybe not formally accusing him, but there's a whole lot of speculation, open speculation, to this day when his name comes up in any sports circle that I've ever traveled in. And for the most part, the general consensus is, oh yeah, that motherfucker was roided up.
I know.
I'm with Chris. You heard so much about him in St. Louis, and he's like bombing shit left and right, and he became like the second coming of Barry Bonds and shit. And after everybody got accused, he was like out, and then they traded him to the Angels, and you didn't hear anything else.
And I know we're in Detroit, and it is what it is, but I'm starting to have that feeling about Miguel Cabrera. Because that's kind of about the same time his decline in production happened, too.
Yeah, but man, Miggy actually like came back this season showing signs of life, and I'm like, why? Why now?
He's back on the juice.
But the Tigers are that bad.
Kind of quiet down now.
About the same time as when Miggy all of a sudden hit the wall. About that same time period. I'm just, the word got out that you can't juice anymore, and a lot of guys stopped putting up the numbers they were putting up.
It went from a season of home run derbies to a season of iconic pitchers again.
Here's the only thing I can fucking say about if Miggy was on shit or not. The only juice I know for sure he was on was the brown bottle flu.
Oh, yeah.
Because, his first few seasons here in Detroit, that was a very poorly kept secret that homeboy liked to go out, liked to drink, and liked to mingle. And it all culminated in the night before that game 163 in 2009.
Dombrowski having to bail him out of jail.
Yep, because he came home drunk, smelling like probably CK1 or some shit that he picked up off some skank at some bar. And yeah, his wife beat the shit out of him. Cops show up, and cops do what they do. She hasn't had a finger laid on her. You're beat to shit. You go to jail. Wait, what? The bitch hit me. Look at me, 6'5", 240 pounds. Look at her, 5'2", 100 and nothing. If I hit this bitch, do you think you would be responding to the domestic assault or murder?
Yeah, you can make the argument like I could kill her. This is not a judgment. This is just it's a I feel like Monty Python. It's a matter of weight ratios.
Oh yeah.
I'm 6'5", she's 5'4". This would not go well.
Any fucking man who's been in a relationship with a woman who's physically abusive and he never laid a hand on her has been standing in that exact situation and been like, do you see her? Do you see me? Do you really think I'm teeing off on her with everything I have? Because if I couldn't bruise her face, but she could do this to me, I wouldn't call you because I'd be ashamed. Like, seriously. Every guy who's ever had a woman who, I got the pussy pass so I can beat on you and you won't hit me because I have a vagina. They know that situation. And they've said that to a cop, to a lawyer, to a judge, to somebody. Did you see any pictures of her where she was abused? Did you see me? Why am I sitting here talking to you? I showed restraint. She committed a fucking crime.
Like John C. Reilly and Step Brothers. That's a 4. You don't want to see a 10. Well, I think we wrapped up the baseball season in a nice little hour-long bow. So, who the fuck knows when spring training's going to start?
Which, hey, moves us into who the fuck knows there's going to be a hockey season next year. But I'll tell you what, someone who is hoping there's a hockey season next year, little Miss Sidney Crosby. Cindy's really hoping there's a hockey season next year because every indication out of Pittsburgh is that their GM ain't going to be here in the long run, and he knows that there's a rebuild just over the next fucking rise, and he ain't going to be here for it. So if he wants to milk one last championship out of that team before he fucking rides off into the sunset, you know that all their high draft picks are going to be going bye-bye.
See, I still view him as like a new player. He's been like 15 years, right? He's the old grizzled veteran now.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not like other teams in the league aren't going through this. You have the Rangers, the Blackhawks, they're going through. The Blackhawks just basically were like, well, it's a retool. And the fans were like, no, bullshit. Whoa, it's kind of a soft reboot. Bullshit. Okay, you got us. It's a rebuild.
All right, fine.
We're gonna suck for a while. And they were like, yeah, that's what we thought.
Don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining.
Unless he demands a trade out of Pittsburgh, he's pretty much set to end his career in Pittsburgh, probably on a bottom feeding team. And if that's the case, oh well. The only way I'll ever care about Crosby is if, for some reason, he gets signed to Detroit. And even then, I'll be like, so we brought the still moving corpse because the bugs are crawling through his body of Crosby here.
The bones of Cindy Crosby.
Yeah. What good?
He'll be the same way he was when Chris Chelios or Ube Krupp was a fucking wing.
We talk about Chelios was a good wing.
Played for 10 fucking
he
seasons.
was around for like a decade. Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess you didn't know him when he first got there.
No, but he had some of the best years of his career in Detroit. What the fuck are you? I'm not a hockey guy, and I at least know that.
Yeah, it's great after the fact, but you should have known Rich when he got traded to the Wings.
Well, no, I know when he came here, it was controversial because that motherfucker
went on ESPN and said, they said, is there any team you will not play for? And he said the Detroit Red Wings.
Yeah.
And 3 years later, he was traded to Detroit Red Wings.
I remember that was a big deal when he came here. That was like, that was like, I'm trying to think of something comparable. Somebody who went to a rival. Brady going to Tampa Bay isn't. Like a player who was synonymous with a team for years, all of a sudden went to a rival.
Michael Jordan going to Wizards?
No. It would have been like Michael Jordan going to the Pistons in 1992. I guess is kind of the way I'd look at it.
Okay.
Chelios was, was he not synonymous with Chicago till he came here? Like, he was the man
absolutely.
in Chicago.
Yeah, him and Belfour was a great 1 and 2.
So many
and
videos.
Being Rich had it out.
So many videos on the news here of Red Wing sweaters fighting Chelios. And then he came here. I was like, oh, shit. All right.
And I remember when they traded for him, and he's going to wear number 24. I was like, that's some bullshit.
Yeah, right.
and then all of a sudden he comes out and he's like, by the way, Proby, yeah, he's one of my best friends on the Blackhawks. The minute I got traded to Detroit, I called him and was like, hey, can I wear your old number? And he's like, yeah, you wore it in Montreal. Sure, fuck it, go ahead. No one's wore it since I left, so might as well be you. And I was like, okay then. All right.
Got any more Coke? And then Bob hung up.
But, I don't know. There's going to be some very interesting times coming up in the NHL because, one, they've shoved this parity philosophy into the league at all costs to the point where they've actually become the laughing stock because of their fucking draft lottery. You had a team this year that played in the playoffs get the number 1 overall pick because of simply a draft lottery. While the Red Wings, the worst team in the NHL for the last 2 to 3 seasons, have never picked higher than 4th in any of the 3 years they finished as the worst team. That's a fucking joke. And I'm not bitching because the Red Wings get the balls, the draft lottery balls took a bad bounce for them. I'm bitching, why do you have a playoff team drafting number 1 overall? They should have never been in that equation.
I'm just not a fan of draft lotteries. It doesn't matter the sport. I think it should all roll like the NFL. It should be based on your record. You're the shittiest team in the league. You get the first pick next year, so you're not the shittiest team in the league. So you have hope to not be the shittiest team in the league. Draft it sets up exactly what you're talking about, Rich. The rich getting richer. A playoff team gets number 1 pick. What? An NBA does that shit too.
Who goes where? Season, no season, televised, whatever. NHL needs to go back to the 90s. Because all over the country, it wasn't just hockey town.
Go puck.
It was all over the country. People were excited about hockey at some point. You had a game that you could not miss. It was just, I watched a special about the Joe and the Wings, man. And those were some times, man. I remember how loud the Joe Louis Arena was. I remember how rocking the whole city was, man.
The problem is
just awesome.
But I'd say around here though, that was lightning in a bottle, right? That was a moment in time around here. In Detroit is in this sweet spot for interest in hockey. That's, the thing with the NHL, and we've all talked about it, is you're not a warm weather. They need to realize what they are. Okay, you're never going to be America's pastime. You're barely Canada's pastime. You're never going to have the status of the NFL, the MLB. You just realize where you excel and expand on that. There should be another fucking hockey team in New England. All right, there should be.
Yeah, but I would say for a decade at least, the NHL rivaled MLB as second at the bare minimum. No, if they didn't have it all by themselves.
I don't think they ever had the numbers.
No way. You take.
You're saying from 2005 to 1995, it wasn't huge. NHL, I mean, and I mean throughout the country, not just Detroit.
You mean from 1995 to 2005?
Right.
Yeah, I'm saying that, and I can tell you why I'm saying that. Because the 2004-2005 season was lost to a lockout.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, if you want to talk regionally, yeah. The Red Wings, the Pistons went into rebuilding mode. Lions did what the Lions always do. And the Tigers were just in limbo. So the Red Wings just stepped right in. And if you really look at it, up until the late 2000s, up until the mid-2010s, we were pretty fucking lucky to always have at least one of our teams winning in this fucking area. In the 80s, Tigers. Late 80s, 90s, early 90s, Pistons. 90s through the late 2000s, Red Wings. Then you throw another Pistons championship, 6 fucking Eastern Conference finals, 2 finals appearance. And then from 2006 to 2015, the Tigers. I mean, this is the first time in a long time we don't have any good teams in this fucking city.
No.
Any whatsoever. But yeah, you go down to St. Louis, there was nobody giving a fuck about the Blues when the Cardinals were in town. And there definitely was no one giving a fuck about the Blues when the Rams were playing.
I'm just going to have to agree to disagree with you, Haas.
All right. Well, all I can bring to the table is the fact that I lived all over the country in those periods of times, and I lived in upstate New York, which is regionally a hotbed of hockey. There was literally 3 hockey teams in the East Coast Hockey League within 100 miles of where I laid my head every night, and no one gave a fuck about any of the 3 teams in that state. No one did. The only 2 teams anybody in New York talked about, Bills, Yankees. That's it. Florida, you know how many times I drove around with a Tampa? I got a Tampa Bay license plate in Florida just because I was like, oh, I'm only going to be here for a few months. Fuck it, I'll pay the extra $10. It'll be something I can hang on my wall, put in my sports den that I'm never going to have, but I didn't realize it at the time. And I thought it'd be cool. You know how many people in Florida were like, what? That's a Florida? Who are the Lightning? Like, motherfucker, we live an hour and a half from Tampa. How do you not know who the fucking Lightning are? Oh, baseball? Okay. Well.
But they also had the Florida Panthers, though.
And this was 2 years after the Panthers went to the finals, and no one could tell you who the fucking Panthers were. When I lived down there, I had to tell these people, I'm like, you got 2 hockey teams in Florida, right? They're like, what, minor league teams? I'm like, no, professionals. Where? The Panthers in Miami, the Lightning in Tampa Bay. Well, they don't ever do shit. The Panthers were just in the Cup Finals in 1996. It's 2 years ago. I was there in 1998.
I'm on the Wikipedia page for Stanley Cup Finals television ratings for the going back to 95, ironically. And in the last 5 years, they're not that far off from where they were in the 90s. Now, there's a big, 2010 to 2015, actually probably 2005 to 2015, probably not hockey's greatest viewership. But in the last 5 years, they're not, like I said, the ratings of Stanley Cup Finals aren't that far off from the ratings in like 1995 through 99. So,
by the way, that was the ratings that got them booted off of ESPN. The ratings between 95 and 99, because it was 2002 when they stopped having NHL tonight. And by the end of 2003, they were done with the NHL period.
Well, 2006, 2007 ratings were rough. That was the first 2 seasons after the lockout. And then 2012, nobody wanted to watch the Kings or the Devils, apparently. And then, things tick back up. 2014, dip a little. 2016, 2017, rebound. 2018, 2019, and then there was this year.
But see, once again, that's what I'm getting at. You have
this year's like the lowest ratings ever.
Now think about it. The Devils, they won 3 cups: 95, 2000, and when was the last one? I can't remember. They only won 2 cups. I don't know. Anyways, long story short, what I'm getting at is that they're a New Jersey team. That's a pretty high visibility area. Rangers won a cup, mid-90s, 94. I mean, if you go back and watch the first season of Friends, they talk about the Rangers more than they talk about any other fucking sports team on that first season. And then, boom, the next, 9-10 seasons of Friends, they don't ever bring up fucking hockey ever again, I don't think. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, once the Yankees started winning, people were like, Rangers who? Jersey had arguably one of the best goalies to ever play the fucking game. And
I have to admit that's true.
And a hell of a team for a decade. They should have been the fucking kings of fucking Jersey. I guarantee you more people gave a fuck about the Sopranos premiere episode than they did about than more people in Jersey watched that than ever watched a fucking Devils game. And I'm dead serious. I'm not even fucking exaggerating. So I mean, you got to think about it. And these are regional areas where they're winning. There's interest in hockey. Like, hockey has always been 4th. Hockey's 5th. And if hockey don't fucking unfuck itself, most Ricky Tick, it's going to be 6th. It's going to go football, basketball. Well, okay, you really want to get down to it. Football, college basketball, college football, basketball, MLB,
NASCAR.
NBA, NASCAR, and if they keep fucking around, it's going to be soccer.
Well, I thought you were going to throw in
fucking hockey.
You left out something I thought that. Don't forget MMA. MMA's been on the come up like the last decade at least. A lot of people watch MMA now, man.
I have a hard time with combat sports because they're not team sports. To me, it's like MMA has took out the big guy. They took out boxing. No one gives a fuck about boxing anymore. Not even the heavyweight division for the most part. Like, what is it taking for us to talk about boxing? Conor McGregor fighting what's his face. Now you got Mike Tyson's going to come out of retirement and fight
Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah, and you got fucking Golden Boy, Pretty Boy
Mayweather.
No, Latino guy.
De La Hoya. No.
Yes, thank you. Yeah,
he's
really? He's talking about coming out of retirement for a fight.
Oh,
yep.
Jesus Christ.
That's the only time people give a fuck about boxing is when they have Old Timers Day. Boxing didn't used to have Old Timers Day. You know, it's like Old Timers Day at the bar. There ain't a whole lot of you. Liver disease kind of took care of that. You know what I'm saying? Like getting the shit beat out of you for fucking all your life kind of takes care of Old Timers Day. But yeah, seriously, that's like at this point, you know who I think MMA's main fucking competition is? WWE.
Yeah.
And I hesitate to call WWE a combat sport because the outcomes are fucking, yes, we've already been through this many times on this show. So I'm just going to say it in case you haven't heard it. I think we all agree it takes a lot of athleticism, a whole lot of training to pull off the shit you do in a wrestling ring. But it's scripted. The moves, the hits, the bumps, the bruises, the broken bones, the cuts, the contusions, those are real. The outcome ain't. It was decided by somebody who wrote the script. So is that even really a sport, or is it what they call themselves? Sports entertainment.
Well, at least Vinnie Mac dropped the pretense 20 years ago and started calling it that. He's like, yeah, this hasn't been wrestling for a while.
I don't know. The path to do that script, though, is a lot more dangerous than the unscripted sports. I'm just saying. People have died.
Owen Hart, looking at you.
Well,
falling down from Kemper Arena in Kansas City, bouncing off a turnbuckle. Bye.
I mean, but you also have in the NHL, for better or for worse, this I don't know what to call it. It's not progressive, even though so-called progressives would say, "Oh, they're so progressive because they're doing shit like this." But it's not progressive. It's the nerfing of the sport, the pussification of it. Everything in society that we've seen for the last 5 to 10 years that most people are fucking tired of is started to bleed its way into the NHL. Case in point, now you have minor leagues. One minor league in Canada is looking at getting funding from the government so they can play next year, and the government's like, no fighting, no body checking. If you're going to take our money, this is the cost. Now you have another fucking hockey league without the government saying anything, without a government bailout, saying they're looking at getting rid of fighting and body checking completely. And then, of all fucking people, Brendan Shanahan comes out in the last couple of weeks and says, yeah, we need to really get fighting reduced and hitting as much as possible in hockey. And I'm just shaking my head going, motherfucker, do you know how you made your career?
Right.
You were the power forward of the NHL. You were the face of the NHL's power forwards for many years. You don't get to be that playing a limp-wristed, wet noodle fucking game out there dancing around people like you're a fucking ballerina.
There's a video of you running out. Over. There's a video of you running out and doing a flying clothesline to Patrick Waugh.
Exactly, you know. And I mean, and then you have what happened with the Coyotes. They had a draft pick. They drafted this kid, Michael Miller, something like that. Whatever, Miller. I know Miller's his last name. All right, and this kid, he's like 18, something like that. And a story come out that when he was in middle school or high school, him and another teenager tricked a. Now this is the way the story was presented, so I'm just repeating what was said. Tricked a black autistic kid into eating a piece of candy that they had placed in a urinal and then physically assaulted him. Now, this Miller guy comes out, admits he bullied the kid. You know, because of the nature of school laws and shit. He got turned over to the authorities. He went to a juvenile court. He was given community service. This was all on the record. when the Coyotes drafted him. After they draft him, you get one of these fucking, crusaders for fucking for justice who go on a digging expedition, dig all this shit up, publish this story in the Arizona Republic about this kid. Now they've just fucking cut this kid off and said, no, later. No, we don't want you. And no other team will touch this kid. He's a pariah for something he did when he was like 13, 14. And I'm going, okay, look, yeah, what he did, yeah, it was shitty. But I don't know anyone who I grew up with who wasn't bullied or did some bullying at some point. We all survived it.
If there was anybody who was given a job or had a job taken away from them by the shit they did in high school, we would all be living in a homeless shelter.
Yep. If everyone was judged by dumb shit they did when they were a teenager,
this shit is now bled over. Shit's now bled over into the NHL. And I'm sitting here on hockey forums, hockey websites, looking in the comments section, mouth hanging like I got my jaw broke, just hanging open. Reading the comments from supposed hockey fans going, good, fuck him. I hope he starves. I hope he fucking starves, has to go on public assistance. Fuck him. And I'm like, okay, so now not only is he not allowed to have a career in the only thing that he's ever tried to have a career in, which is fine. You're not guaranteed a spot to play in any professional team. It is a privilege. It's not a fucking right. You're not entitled to it. Okay? But you want him to be such a fucking failure at life because you and people like you won't let this guy move on from a piss poor decision he made as a child. And these are the same people that ironically think of the children all the time. Yet when one of the children do children shit, oh, you got to cancel him. He can't have a life. Oh, good. So now we get to pay for his ass because no one will fucking hire him so he can sit on his dead ass the rest of his life and collect welfare. That sounds like a plan. But this is the mentality of the people who the league is listening to. And I'm going to be this guy, and I don't care. I don't even hate to be this guy. I'm just going to be this guy. What the fuck happened to second chances?
You only get them now if people like you. Trust me. We all know there's a lot of sacred cows out there that haven't been fucked with. If you're if people like you, you'll get a second chance. But if people don't, it's it for you. You're fucking done. Bye. The mob has spoken.
A case in point with that is Kareem Hunt. Kick a girl in the head, get suspended for a minute, come back, you can play.
Well, it's sports.
Ray Rice.
Well, if you're good.
You slap a girl in an elevator, you're all done, son.
Ray Rice, if you're good, because the thing about Ray Rice was at the end of his career. Kareem Hunt was at the beginning of his. And another point, we're going to get it. He's about to play this week. Antonio Brown. He kept his nose clean for a year. Fucking people forget all about that shit because he is good at football.
Well, at least football is the one sport that I used to have some respect for because they'd be like, yeah, it's a violent sport played by violent men. Most people who are capable of that level of violence are incapable of turning it on and off like a light switch. That's what makes them be able to play that sport. I was just watching a documentary about Troy Polamalu, and they're talking about his teammates who played with him during his career were like, he's the only player I've ever seen play at his level who played deathly afraid of it on every play. Because most of the time, if you're afraid out there, you're a mark. You're an injury waiting to happen because you're not going 100%. You're worried about getting hurt, so your mind isn't in the game. Troy Polamalu was so fucking terrified of getting hurt that he played out of his fucking mind to try to avoid playing hurt. That's why he had such an unorthodox playing style for his position of safety.
I'll never forget him jumping over both lines and tackling the quarterback.
That's what I'm saying. You never saw shit like that.
Ever, and never have again.
And it's like, the NFL used to be like, it is what it is, folks. What do you want us to say? Okay. It's just like the ending of A Few Good Men. Deep down inside, parts that you don't talk about at your little fucking tea parties, you want us Marines on that wall. You need us on that wall because we're doing a job you can't bring yourself to do. So I'd rather you just pat me on the back, say thank you, and I go on about my day and sit here and be questioned by a pussy you don't have the fucking balls to put on a uniform and fucking watch it and take a goddamn watch.
You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall. I love that fucking speech.
Either way, I don't give a damn what you think you're entitled to.
It's the truth. Are you going to send a bunch of sheep out to fight off the wolves that are trying to kill us? They're trying to break down our door? Or are you going to send a bunch of wolves out to go deal with a bunch of wolves?
Well, look, speaking of wolves, I'm sorry for the kid that got messed with in Arizona, but the bruisers of the sport have done way worse, and they're adults and have way more than 2 chances at it. You know, Probert, we're looking at you. McCarty, people like that.
Yeah, I'm sitting here. I'm looking at this article I pulled up on the situation for this Miller. It is Mitch Miller. That's his name. And I mean, he flat out comes and says, "I'm extremely sorry about the bullying incident that occurred in 2016 while I was in 8th grade. He wasn't even in high school." How many times do we hear, "Oh, he's just a child. He doesn't understand." Yet, do I even need to say why he's being held to a higher standard? I bet you if he disappears for 6 months, comes out. I bet you if he disappears for 6 months, comes out and he has a sex change and he starts playing in the WNHL, I'll be forgiven. Guarantee it. Oh, well, she was going through some stuff. So, we don't know what was going through her head, and we can't judge her. What your favorite game that your wife plays with you, Chris? The minute you fucking level of criticism of anybody, well, what if this is happening? What if this is happening? What if my aunt had balls? She'd be my uncle, but she doesn't. Now, does she? Stop the what if bullshit game. I'm not going to sit here and play the what if game where you come up with every scenario that makes it okay for them to do what they fucking did. But yet when it comes to shit like this, they won't even entertain that fucking, well, no, that's horrible. Well, he's black and he has mental deficiency. He's autistic. I'm starting to believe autistic is the normal. Autistic is the default for the human fucking race. Because everybody's fucking on the spectrum nowadays. Anytime something's wrong, it's either ADHD or autism. If you think I'm bullshitting, spend some time around some kids in school. Half the class, ADHD. The other half of the class, somewhere on the spectrum. And everybody can't even look at peanut butter without falling over dead. But I mean,
and to quote Bernie Mac, you got some punk ass parents.
I just, the NHL is going to be a very different game a lot sooner than I thought. We've been saying it for years on here. These are people who, one, do not care about the sport. They are not fans. Because a fan wouldn't come in and see the sport and go, I love what you're doing with the sport, except for everything. Now, we just need to change everything, and then the sport will be perfect. Well, then you didn't love the sport in the first place. Get the fuck out of here. Go watch soccer. Go watch basketball. Go watch field hockey. Why do you have to come in and turn this into two-hand touch pussy ass shit?
Because we don't agree like it.
Oh, well, I mean, hey, look, there's one thing I've learned these last 7 months. I did miss sports when everything shut down at the initial beginning of this, whole fiasco. But as time went on, I was like, I'm not really missing sports as much as I thought I was. Or I would. Now, if there was no football, that would probably be hard to deal with.
Yeah.
But, to be honest with you, if this continuing nerfing and pussification of football continues, if it gets to the point where they can barely touch each other, why am I watching this game? This is literally people throwing a ball up and down a field. You might as well just throw like 2 wide receivers and a quarterback out there, and give them 3 chances to throw it to them when they're not defended and get into the end zone. Okay, other teams, no offense, no defense, just the other team on the field now by themselves. Quarterback, 2 wide receivers, go.
Every game's just a shootout.
Yeah. Because, you can't, I'm watching, oh, Jesus. There was a fucking show about James Harrison's hits. Holy shit. This ain't that long ago. This motherfucker ain't, retired for 10, 15 years. Been retired for what?
Massive.
2? 2 or 3? I mean, Jesus Christ, he did that fucking commercial during the Super Bowl, and it looked like he could still fucking play.
My favorite commercial this football season is what's him with DraftKings, where
he chases the guy outside.
Yeah, that commercial is awesome. It's like, if he
takes
doesn't
a
hit
big
you,
breath like he's safe.
If he doesn't hit you, he doesn't get paid. What? He fucking blows through a door.
Dude, there's no way. There's no way those hits would fucking work. And I mean, dude, the ticky-tack bullshit that I see getting called, I'm like, it makes it kind of hard to sit down and watch a game. If it wasn't for Red Zone, I don't know, man. My blood pressure would probably be a lot higher than it is. Because if I had to watch my team go through every bullshit, ticky-tack, fucking rinky-dink fucking penalty that gets called on them, I'd probably fucking stroke out. This is bullshit. Why don't you just have them put fucking dresses on? Get it over with. Seriously, I kind of think they like.
You can't do that. The lingerie. the lingerie people are better, fucking more physical than the NFL.
That's exactly what I was about to say. I think the bitches that play the lingerie bowl are probably hitting harder relatively for their size and their equipment. You know what I'm saying? Like for their size and equipment.
I'm just saying, dude, there's some women in there that I'm like, yeah, I don't want to play with her. Game over, man. Put her in charge.
That's an angry bitch who had an uncle with boundary issues. She's looking to take it out on anything with a dick. Keep that shit away from me. Well, before we, because we're kind of already balls deep into the water of fucking pro football. Before we get there,
Sporgy.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Si tú y tus amigos ordenan de McDonald's juntos, deja que los demás agarren su comida primero. Yo sé, el solo pensar en el olor de las papitas y tener que esperar para meter tu mano en la caja y sacar unas suena loco. Pero por regla, si eres la última persona que sostiene la bolsa, entonces las papitas que se cayeron al fondo de la bolsa son tuyas. La paciencia paga, amigos. Para pa pa pa.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Si tú y tus amigos ordenan de McDonald's juntos, deja que los demás agarren su comida primero. Yo sé, el solo pensar en el olor de las papitas y tener que esperar para meter tu mano en la caja y sacar unas suena loco. Pero por regla, si eres la última persona que sostiene la bolsa, entonces las papitas que se cayeron al fondo de la bolsa son tuyas. La paciencia paga, amigos. Para pa pa pa.
Look in your home. Look in your office. Look in your home office. Everywhere you turn, there's so much smart. At Capella University, we think education should be smart too. Our game-changing FlexPath format puts you in control of your master's degree, so you can learn how, when, and where you want. Smart, huh? Yeah, we think so too. So if you want to take the next step in your career, make Capella your first step. Visit capella.edu to learn more. Capella University. Don't just learn smarter.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Sporgy.
is there any Harbaugh fans left? Any Michigan fans who still want Harbaugh? Because if there are, I don't understand what the fuck. I'm not even going to say I've been saying it. You know how long I've been saying it? I told you after his third season he didn't need to be here anymore. But now the problem that I felt 3 years ago is being felt by other Michigan fans going, well, who the fuck do we get? Because there's nobody out there. You ain't getting Uncle Urban. You're not going to throw enough money for Uncle Urban to come to Michigan. He ain't coming to Ann Arbor.
I still think Les Miles will leave Kansas in a heartbeat. What, Michigan? Yeah, great. Good luck with basketball, Jayhawk. See ya. But that's just me.
I had this discussion with a friend of mine, and I agree with him, but he wants to try Rich Rod Part 2. Not Rich Rod himself, but he's like, we need to stop with this Michigan man shit, and we need to get a coach in here who's going to come in with a whole new scheme that Michigan's never fucking played with. And I'm like,
we did that before. Yeah.
Time out. No. I'm with you on the. You can stop at the. We need Michigan man. Need a Michigan man. I get you. I'm there with you. But this is the Big Ten. This ain't the SEC. They're not out here playing in fucking perfect weather all the goddamn time. You try to turn them into a spread offense type of team, you're going to end up with the same record you ended up with when Rich Rod was here.
Enjoy 4 wins.
There's a reason.
You saw how bad it was when they were single wing offense, when they sat there and tried to snap it to anybody in the backfield.
Well, there's a reason that regional styles of football develop over time, because the weather in those regions dictate the style you have to play. Period. End of story. I mean, one of the biggest hotbeds of football recruiting is Florida. Florida plays a fast, wide-open style of football high school, the colleges, compared to the Big Ten. Used to be the Pac-12, but, now it's a little bit different. But, I mean, yeah, because you ain't going to sit there and throw for fucking 450 yards when you can't see 10 yards in front of you because it's fucking snowing on November whatever the fuck day while you're playing at 12 in the afternoon on a Saturday. That ain't happening.
Dude, I don't care what the fuck you get. You got to get rid of them. How the fuck are you going to lose to a Michigan State team that got utterly embarrassed by Rutgers? Come on, man.
See, now, and here's because, we have here in Michigan, here in Detroit, we have our resident Michigan hater, Mike Valenti, on our local sports talk. And he had already set it up. He had already decided that he was going to goalpost move. So if Michigan won, it didn't matter because State sucked, and this is an asterisk season. Anyways, this is a mulligan of a season because of COVID. But if State won, then Michigan had to either accept that loss and put up with him trying to fucking wag his dick in your face, or admit this season doesn't mean shit. And I'm like, well, you're trying to have it both ways too, because Friday before you signed off, you said this season doesn't mean shit. Monday when you signed on, you literally did a fucking victory lap around the goddamn fucking studio. What are you taking a victory lap for in a season that doesn't mean shit? I don't understand. But that's neither here nor there. He brought up a very good point, though. We don't know what the fuck we're dealing with either of these teams.
Nope.
Is State as bad as the team that lost to Rutgers, or is State the team that just beat Michigan?
I texted you that GIF that right after the game with Chris Farley going, no idea, because that's how I feel. Like, I now officially have no idea about either of these teams. Does MSU suck? Does Michigan suck? Are they both good? Do they both suck? I don't fucking know. After 2 weeks.
If MSU from here on out runs the table, history is going to look back a lot more kindly on this loss that Michigan had. And I hope, for my fucking college football team's sake, that State doesn't win a fucking game the rest of this season. That way they can just go, you know what? Harbaugh, it's just not working. You got to go, dude. I'm sorry. Here's your walking papers. Here's your severance pay.
Go coach the Jets like everyone thinks you're going to anyway.
Yeah, we'll see. You go back to the NFL. Go have a good one. And shit, Jets are looking for a quarterback probably from what I hear, so maybe you can bring Kaepernick in.
Yeah, they're tanking for Trevor.
Maybe bring Luck back in. You coached him in college.
Right.
I don't know. Seriously.
That is done.
Because this is absolutely ridiculous. Like, he has 2 wins against rivals in 5 full seasons and 2 games of a 6th season. I don't think they're beating Wisconsin or fucking Ohio State this year. So we can go ahead and add 2 more losses against your rivals into that column. Have they sniffed a playoff? The Big Ten playoffs? No. Have they sniffed a college championship playoff? No.
God, no.
What have they done? And I'm so sick of hearing about, well, they got a top 10 recruiting class. And did what with it?
What does that mean? It means shit.
I could have a 10-inch cock that's 16 inches around, split a bitch open from fucking 2 miles away. But if I couldn't hit the G-spot on a 10-pound pussy, I'm no good. So it don't matter. Like, yeah, you got a big cock, but you don't know how to use it. So who gives a fuck about your fucking draft class? Especially since D'Antonio's over here with an average dick and an average draft class, balls deep in your ass every year for the last 5 seasons.
And now he's gone, and the new guy beat you.
And the new guy's balls deep in your ass. Fucked you raw up the ass with a dick covered in chalk.
In your own house.
And this is another thing I'm tired of hearing. Will Harbaugh finally got the quarterback he wanted. Oh, really?
What? How many? What? This is like his 5th or 6th season. This should be the 2nd quarterback he wants by now.
And we're 2 years removed from making fun of Rutgers' uniform. I remember sitting here just laughing our ass off at Rutgers.
Oh, I never made fun of it. I've always maintained I like their uniforms for a high school team. But I mean, I like their uniform. They're kind of gaudy for I like the colors, I like the helmet, but it's kind of gaudy. It wouldn't work in the NFL. It kind of works at the college football level.
To answer your question about what he's done, there is an NFL broadcaster who feels similar to you do about Jim Harbaugh. Said the only thing good he has done for Michigan is he's brought back the white pants on the road. That's it.
And look, can we just be honest? That probably has something a lot more to do with the fact that Nike now sponsors Michigan in their uniforms and wants to give them as many options like they do a team like Oregon as possible.
Hey, it's Color Rush time.
Yep. So they can sell more fucking shit, which is like, okay, first of all, I don't know what you're thinking with a team like Michigan. They're so steeped in tradition that maize and blue ain't going anywhere. You ain't doing a Michigan combat uniform where they're going to change their colors to fucking woodland camo anytime soon. You know what I'm saying? That is shit. You want to see a bunch of fucking peaceful Michigan alum riot? That's how you get them to do that. Like, seriously. They'll start burning couches and chucking them off of fucking second-story balconies. But yeah, I don't know how anyone can defend him. I don't. And I wasn't defending him before this fucking season, and I've not defended Harbaugh for years now on the show. And I've been, you're not a real Michigan fan. It's just like politics. Everybody, all the extremists on the right hate me, all the extremists on the left hate me. I know I'm doing something right. When all the Walmart Wolverines hate me and all the Safeway or Speedway Spartans hate me, I know I'm doing something right. Because these aren't real fans anyways. These are people who are incapable of leveling a critical eye at their own team and going, something needs to change. They just root once a year when the game comes. And, they're the ones usually talking the most shit before the game. And then when their team loses, they don't talk shit about college football for a whole 364 days until that day comes the next year. And those people don't really count. But I don't know anyone who's a knowledgeable fan or a fan of Michigan who is down for Harbaugh. But once again, who the fuck do you get? Who do you go after?
TB12 when he retires. Once he wins the Super Bowl this year and goes out on top, he can go be
not for nothing.
He can go coach Michigan.
I'm all for Tony Romo. Go get Tony Romo.
Why? He's a fucking good ass. I love watching games he calls.
So do I, because I know the play to watch.
He's just besides being good at football, it turns out he's good at being an announcer. Like, I enjoy him in the booth. I hope he stays in the booth forever.
It's really funny, the people that hate Romo. And I'm like, what's to hate about him? So, okay, yes, he was the quarterback for the Cowboys, America's team. So right there, fuck him. I get that. But he's no longer their quarterback. He didn't win shit. He had a 500 record. They had a 500 record when he was there.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, he's not even in the top 3 in fucking Dallas quarterbacks. I'm not talking stats. I'm talking talent-wise, period. Staubach, Aikman, and I'm forgetting the other guy.
Well, speaking of talent, he got to nail Dukes of Hazzard era Jessica Simpson.
And what's her face? Thursday Night Football chick. Oh, shit. I forget her name.
Oh, Erin Andrews?
No, the chick who is from American Idol, who does the...
Oh, Carrie Underwood?
That's Sunday night.
Oh,
Sunday night.
Oh, he got to nail her, too? Good for him.
I think he's married to her.
No, she's married to a hockey player.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Some guy who's playing Nashville.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's definitely got a type, blonde.
Well, I was just saying, he's got a type, blonde with big tits.
But, I mean, so the guy turned out to be a guy who's good in the booth, and he's just a good dude, it seems like. And people hate him for that?
And I think his Corona commercials are funny. They make me chuckle.
Dude, every time he calls a play, they need somebody in the booth with him, because every time he calls a play, the other announcer's like, wait, they're going to do what? And then the play happens, and he's like, see?
He's like, he could see that shit. He could see how the defense is lining up.
Right. And then the other announcer's looking at him like, dude, are you psychic?
You do that shit every day since you're like 9. Shit's going to stick with you.
Troy Aikman can't do it. Him and Joe Buck are in a booth, and they talk about flyovers. They ain't talking about what's going on in the field.
Well, Aikman's from the era when you could still get hit.
Aikman got hit too many times.
Yeah. Us too, Michael Irvin passing around the Coke after a win might scramble a little bit of the brain cells, too.
You got to go back to Troy. Hey, game's going on the field. Yeah. Look on the field.
But anyway. Yeah, Harbaugh, I mean, I'm loving it, but that's me. I'm not the Michigan fan of the show. But I feel for you guys. You're doing something over and over again and not getting better results.
Yeah, they're going insane.
At what point do you cut bait with this man?
This has to be his last year. I mean, like I said, you can't lose to Rutgers and then beat Michigan, and it wasn't even a close Michigan game. Nah.
Yeah, but I mean, what if that was What if that was State's Appalachian State? We didn't get up enough for the game that we should have, and we got. I mean, I'm playing the what if game, but I mean, that's the thing. 2 weeks, I don't know. Yeah, Michigan, you beat the crap out of Minnesota. You're supposed to beat the crap out of Minnesota, but then you get rolled by State, who got butt fucked by Rutgers. So I mean,
I'm gonna tell you this right now: if fucking the Spartans run the table or are in the thick of a Big Ten, if there is even if the Big Ten finishes the season, which is something else we'll get to in a second here, and they're in the thick of it, whoever does the hiring at you know who Michigan should get? Whoever does the head coach hiring at Michigan State. That's who they should get. Bring him in and let him pick your next head coach.
Yeah.
Because who the fuck is Mel Tucker? Picked his ass out of nowhere.
He brought Colorado back to prominence.
Yeah, in one season, and then they picked his ass out of nowhere. Like, that is fucking insane for that small of a fucking sample size to hand him the keys to a Big Ten team. And if he fucking can drive, you're doing something right in East Lansing. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know. And I mean, dude, it just hit me the other day talking about this with a buddy of mine who's a Sparty fan. We're going on 20 years in one win against OSU. Have not won a Big Ten championship in that time, let alone come close to a national championship. Their bowl record is sub 500. And they have a 7-year period of just, they used to rank Michigan as a 5-star fucking college football team. Between Rich Rod and Brady Hoke, that dropped them down to a 3-star football team. In 7 years. 7 years.
The last time you were viewed as feared and respected, Lloyd Carr was the coach. Lloyd Carr's been gone a long fucking time.
2007.
Yeah.
That was his last season. And that was also the season with Appalachian State. And to be brutally honest, that was also the season where, the season before was when Michigan was number 1 or number 2. Ohio State was number 1 when they met at the end of the season. Ohio State basically squeaked out a victory against Michigan. And then Ohio State and Michigan went to their bowl games and shit the fucking bed. And as a harbinger of things to come from Michigan, they played Uncle Urban's fucking Gators and got housed. I mean, just fucking, they banked them. And Ohio State went on to go, I think, play LSU, Alabama that year. I can't remember, but I remember they got smashed in their fucking game too. I mean, so it's not like, once again, it's not like they were true national powerhouses back then. They were, they couldn't beat the number 1 team, and they dropped down to number 4. So number 1 and number 4 team from the Big Ten both get fucking curb stomped by the Southern Conferences.
The only national championship caliber team in my adult life was literally the first year I was considered an adult, 1997.
Yeah. And sadly for me, a year that I was out of state and was living in a state where I could not get Michigan football for shit because I lived in Florida. So they were like, FSU? No. Gators? No. How about the Canes? Maybe, but I want to watch the Michigan game first. Yeah, you ain't getting that down here.
Yeah, better move to Michigan.
Yeah, pretty much.
Better buy a satellite dish.
And then you got Ohio or Wisconsin canceling a second game due to COVID.
How come Virginia Tech can play like minus 23 players, but Wisconsin's got to cancel like 2 games in a row for a dozen people?
This is my Fisher-Price conspiracy theory on this, which means it's just a very pedestrian, not, it's not a nefarious conspiracy theory. I really think you have a lot of teams in the Big Ten that didn't want to bother playing. And that because the rest of the fucking power conferences said, we're playing, the Big Ten were like, fuck, all right. I have my doubts whether or not there's going to be a full fucking, quote-unquote, full season for the Big Ten Conference.
I think so. They missed out on their March Madness money. You got to... NCAA's got to make some ducats somehow. They lost.
Well,
they didn't get to take their big haul in March.
It's not like Michigan really goes deep. Well, I mean, they haven't. Well, no, I can't say that. Last 5-6 years, they made some deep runs into March Madness. So I don't know. This year is how did one guy put it to me? He said, "This is all I want from sports this year, 2020, is to sit down for 3 or 4 hours, eat some food that's going to make me fucking have the bubble guts, drink some beer, and not think about the rest of the bullshit going on in this fucking world for 3-4 hours. That's it." He's like, I don't even. Who wins is almost incidental at this point. Yeah. I just want a break from the bullshit politics, the fucking arguing, the fucking coronavirus, and everything.
I mean, that's what we've all been screaming when football started. Like, oh my God, I'm aware of the news. It's going to be, I just want to watch a fucking football game. I'll watch the news after the football game. I might even check it during the football game. But goddamn, can I just, I'm with your buddy, can I just watch a fucking football game and just think and talk about football?
Yeah, the first week was all about the civil rights and black lives, and then, like you guys said earlier, took all of that away, and let's get to the getting.
But well, I mean, it is what it is. Michigan, congratulations on another year of. I mean, they play what, 8 games? They'll see. They got to play Wisconsin,
loss. Ohio State, loss. Penn State, loss.
There's a chance they could end up 500 at best. Easy. And it's just that's completely unacceptable.
Well, yeah, if you're a 4-loss team and there's only 8 games, do the math.
Yeah, there's absolutely no fucking reason for a coach 6 years into his fucking tenure at a team that has Michigan's facilities, prestige, draw to have the record he has. It's ridiculous. I mean, at a certain point, I've said this to my buddy who's a huge Sparty fan. He kind of got his nose out of joint, and I was like, well, you got mad in those pants? Yeah, well, you can get glad in the same ones. Because I said State is a mid-tier team now. The reason you were at the top of the fucking heap just left. He walked out the door and took, I think, $8 million with him. So I mean, like, sorry. Well, what's Michigan at? Probably lower than the middle of the pack team. Oh, okay. But yeah, you're not talking. I ain't the one, motherfucker. Don't try to come here pulling my card with that bullshit, because I'll send you home with a fucking rupture, boy. I'm not the one to sit here and try to act like I don't talk shit about my teams. My team sucks. I'm the first one to say it. You know why? I don't want to hear it coming out of your fucking shit fucking holster.
Well, one of your teams don't suck.
I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, but that's just because I am a fan of Tampa Bay. And I'm like, okay, what's going to go wrong now?
Well, see, you got to be careful, because you've been in Detroit too long, because you keep waiting for the other shoe to drop and forget it is Tampa. They have won before, and as you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, they keep putting more socks in the fucking drawer, dude.
Sporgy.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Look in your home. Look in your office. Look in your home office. Everywhere you turn, there's so much smart. At Capella University, we think education should be smart too. Our game-changing FlexPath format puts you in control of your master's degree, so you can learn how, when, and where you want. Smart, huh? Yeah, we think so too. So if you want to take the next step in your career, make Capella your first step. Visit capella.edu to learn more. Capella University. Don't just learn smarter.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Masspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new: our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Masspeth, and always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
As much as life has changed over the last year, you're still pretty busy. So consider convenient COVID-19 testing from Quest. Get the same tests hospitals use without a doctor visit. Simply order online, select from drive-through or at-home options, and get results sent securely to your phone or computer. It's a great fit for your busy life. With over 25 million COVID-19 tests processed, you can count on Quest. So order your test today at questcovid19.com.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Sporgy.
I know everybody's excited. I believe, a lot of Tampa fans, I see them online. Oh, it's over with. We got AB. It's fucking on. Blah, blah, blah. We're about to fucking run roughshod over this fucking league, et cetera, et cetera. I get you. But, man, it takes a real special fucking coaching staff and culture surrounding a team to have that many fucking egos on that many stars in that small of an environment. Everybody work together.
But that's what I was getting at. We're talking about TB12 coming to Michigan. Is this where we pivot into the pros, by the way?
Yeah.
All right. Because, and I brought this up the last time, or maybe I brought it up in the Fantasy Football Podcast, Tom Brady has definitely shown he's got a talent to be a GM. He's from all the chat. I mean, you're a Tampa Bay guy, Rich. You've been following him probably a lot closer than me. But all the chatter has been like Brady's essentially been the guy who's put that team together. Like the man's got an eye for. He's got Antonio Brown living in his house. Just it seems like Tom is just assembling this. Like he's making the. Because I asked a buddy of mine on the golf course, like, did somebody get a stage 4 diagnosis in Tampa? Like, what's going on down there? And part of me just thinks this is Brady putting his team together for one final run so he can go out on top.
I think he signed a 2-year contract. I can't remember if we talked about it, but I know I've said this to other people. If he did sign a 2-year contract with Tampa, if he wins the Super Bowl this year, he's done.
Yeah.
He's not going to risk coming back. He knows how hard it is to repeat.
Yeah.
He's won 6 of the fucking things. And only 2 of them were back-to-back? So, that's, he knows. And I was thinking head coach. But general manager, maybe. I mean, because let's be honest, if you get a call and you're a free agent, and it's general manager of whatever team, Tom Brady on the other end. But then you get another call, and it's Bob Quinn from the Lions.
I'm going to go work for the GOAT.
You know what I'm saying? I don't even care how he doesn't even have a record. He will when I get there. But bottom line, if he's calling me, he obviously thinks he can win with me, so we're probably going to have a winning record when I get there. I'm not taking that call from Bob Quinn.
Well, I mean, if you look at people like, Patrick Mahomes, everybody's like, well, look at all the weapons around Patrick. I mean, not for nothing. Tom Brady has assembled the epitome of weapons.
Well, I mean, they already had Godwin and Evans, and then
right, and then he got Gronk, and then now you're at an AB, and then you went out and got Fournette, and you got Shady McCoy just in case. Come on, he's great out of the backfield, but he's great when he's receiving.
And that's what I was going to say is that's a little beat writer wrote a little story on how are these egos and these big heads existing together on the team, and he was focused on the running backs, and he's like, I've never seen this on any football team, let alone a Tampa team, and I cover them as a beat writer. They all support each other.
Yeah, it's because of the leader, right? My guess too. I'm guessing too. Where I was kind of going when I started all that was Tom. It sounds like Tom's a great leader. And that might have been the problem in we're starting to see it might have been the problem in New England is perhaps there was only room enough in Boston for one leader, and there was essentially 2 leaders in that organization. And Captain Hoodie wasn't going to have it. Like, I'm the fucking head coach. I'm the leader.
Well, I mean, if you take a look at all the assistant coaches over the last 20 years that have left the Patriots organization and the success they've had wherever they've went, kind of proves to you they weren't leaders in waiting. They were following Belichick's fucking lead. I mean, What assistant coach has had success at any level once they leave the Patriots?
Exactly.
Charlie Weiss is the closest I can think that comes to it. And Charlie Weiss inherited a Notre Dame team on the uptick with Brady Quinn at quarterback.
Well, I mean, the Lions have been They've had 3 losses and been to the playoffs every season. We've had Matt Patricia's coaching for his job every week now. It's only his 3rd season. He is already to the point where every week he is coaching to keep his job.
I think he's not to jump to, because there's nothing to talk about with the Lions. The Lions are doing the opposite of what they need to do. And this is the epitome of same old Lions. They need to lose. Quinn and Patricia need to be given their walking papers immediately. And whoever from the Fords is running that fucking team needs to contact as many great football minds as they can that will talk to them.
Just go fix this.
Bitch, your last name is Ford.
You got the money.
Go to one of your accounts, grab a blank checkbook, and say, how much do I need to get all 4 of you sitting in my office in Dearborn on this day? Because we need to brainstorm here. Because this shit can't keep happening.
You think Matt Patricia sent Todd Gurley like an edible bouquet? Like, hey, thanks for helping me keep my job another week.
I don't know what the fuck that was.
The Lions had no business winning that game.
First of all,
winning that
Todd
game.
Gurley has the football IQ to not go into that end zone. He's done it before. He's made that exact play before where he ran right along the end zone to run the clock down and then took a fucking knee and allowed himself to get touched and be down by contact without going into the end zone. That's happened. I've seen the video a million times since that Lions game. And he goes in there and he has a brain fart just then. That's same old Lions. Mm-hmm. That's same old Lions. That bought Patricia and Quinn, I think, the rest of the season.
God damn.
Unless they just fucking tank from here on out. But dude, have you looked at strength of schedule? There's a chance they can actually end up fucking like 7-9. And that's going to be called progress here in Detroit.
Oh, God.
And they'll be here next season.
We'll have them another fucking season. I mean, if you ask me, getting back to TB, half a season into them being separated, the winner's clear. Brady's 5-2. The system's 2-5. It was clearly Brady.
Well, I mean, in Belichick's defense, he does have Cam Newton.
Buzzing. But Cam Newton's not a pile of shit. Cam Newton won a Heisman. Cam Newton's mobile. Cam Newton's big. Cam Newton's been to a Super Bowl.
A long time ago, dude.
You know what, though? First couple weeks of the season, nobody was singing that Tom Brady was beating Belichick in that race.
Yeah, exactly. I remember people always said, "Oh, it's over." Like what? The first game? Oh, it's over. Brady's old. He's done. I remember
all the memes that people posted. They scoured the internet for a picture of fucking Belichick smiling, and they took a picture of fucking Brady sitting on the bench with the "what the fuck just happened" look on his face.
And the crying Brady memes made a comeback.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look, the irony in the situation would be that if Bill Belichick was a mentor to somebody who's going to go on and carry on his winning ways and traditions as a head coach, it wasn't to any of his assistant coaches, it was to his former quarterback. Now the question is, how much fucking goodwill equity has Belichick bought himself over the last 20 years?
I'd say 6 Super Bowls worth.
Well, what I'm saying is, are we going to see in the next 10 years a playoff matchup between a Belichick-led team and a Brady-led team? And when I say Brady-led team, I mean from the front office or the sidelines as a head coach. That's what I mean.
If anything, I think Brady ends up back in that organization as the GM when Bob Kraft finally wants to retire or step back. I mean, I could see Brady running the front office there.
I mean, I've heard some, off the record fucking stories and comments. That's not a good situation between Brady and Belichick. I mean, we were going to record and then, life got in the way. But the day before, I was in my car and I was listening to this story about before Brady left New England, him and Giselle went over to Robert Kraft's house. Giselle, of all people, said, My husband's given you 6 Super Bowl rings, 10 Super Bowl appearances, and has been the best that's ever done it at his position for 20 years. And you're treating him like he's a fucking long snapper who's no one's name they can remember. No one can remember his name. This is bullshit. Now, if his wife is in there feeling comfortable enough to pop off to the fucking owner like that, there might be some strained tension between Brady and that organization.
Did she end it with, "What have you done for me lately?"
Well, I mean, here's the thing.
Look at it this way, though. Look at it this way. With Phil Jackson and Michael Jordan, all right, that's the only two that I can think of that has the Belichick-Brady similarities, where you stay with them, you do well with them. And then you got to, people started saying, well, yeah, Phil, but I mean, not for nothing. He had Mike. I mean, anybody could do it with Mike in his prime. And then Phil went to L.A. with a point to prove. It wasn't Mike. It was me. I think Brady left New England with a point to prove. It wasn't the system. It was me. Regardless of what New England did. If New England won out the entire season, Brady has a point to prove in Tampa Bay. He went there with an enormous chip on his shoulder.
Halfway through the season, he's fucking proven it, man. Like, Tampa Bay looks like to me, it looks like the NFC Championships game is going to be Tampa Bay and Seattle. At this point, if you ask me right now, who's playing for the NFC title? Those two teams. Because who else in the NFC do you see? It ain't going to be out of the NFC North. I mean, Green Bay, while, Aaron has proven that he's back, Green Bay's got a lot of problems. Devontae Adams gets hurt, their offense disappears. Also, they all got COVID right now. But, it ain't coming out of the North. Is it coming... The NFC South, I mean, that looks like it's Tampa Bay's division to lose. Who else? The East? Right. A division where a sub-500 team is going to win it. It ain't coming out of that division. So
see, I think I agree with you about the NFC North, but I think you're selling the NFC East. I'm with you. The NFC North, I think you're selling short. If they get let's say Green Bay wins the division, they get one of those NFC East teams, they're gonna fucking chew them up, spit them out.
Mm-hmm.
Then they got to play another team because they're talking about adding another round of wild card playoffs, second round to the playoffs this year, for a total of 16 teams. I mean, shit. I remember when all the other sports used to laugh at fucking hockey for having 16 teams in their playoffs. Now everybody's going to that shit, but whatever.
But the Tampa Bay defense is definitely better than the Green Bay defense this year. Tampa Bay definitely has way more offensive weapons.
No, I'm with you, but we also understand that football is not like any other sport. Any given Sunday, baby.
Yeah.
Appalachian State. I mean,
it only takes one.
Exactly. All it takes is a few missed assignments, a few drop passes on Tampa Bay's part, and they're out of the playoffs. I mean, it's happened. It hasn't happened often, but it's happened to Brady. The year that fucking the Colts won the Super Bowl against the Bears, halftime, the AFC Championship game. I laid down, fell asleep. I woke up, I see the Colts celebrating. I'm like, what the fuck? They were like 3 touchdowns behind at halftime. How the fuck are they celebrating? I had to get on the DVR and back it up fucking a whole fucking half of football to see what the fuck happened.
What the fuck just happened?
Like, I was only asleep for 2 hours. How'd that happen in 2 hours? Shit.
Oh, I mean, there's so many stories. The Minnesota Miracle, what is it? The Tennessee Miracle. What did they call that?
Music City Miracle.
Yeah, Music City Miracle. So many stories of it's just like, oh, yeah, it only takes once.
And I'm not saying it's likely, but I mean it's possible. And I think that's one of the things about football that I think a lot of people who don't really care for football as a sport, but they are sports fans. It's probably the all or nothing proposition of you have 162 games. You lose one game in baseball, it's not the end of the world. You lose one game in football.
Oh, it's a big fucking deal.
Big time.
Hey, by the way.
Yeah, in playoff hockey, if a goalie has a bad run for a minute and loses 2 games, it's okay. It's best of 7.
By the way,
if a quarterback has a bad game, you're out.
My dark horse NFC team this year, mark it, November 4th, Cardinals, man. keep an eye on them. Did you guys see that Sunday night football game against Seattle? Did you stay up for it?
Saw it.
Dude, I'm just saying, like, don't be surprised if all of a sudden the Cardinals are I think they're playing January football and they might go deep. I'm not saying it's going to be the Arizona in the Super Bowl, but say NFC West, I'm just saying Arizona could be the team that comes out of it, not Seattle. Just keep an eye on it. But other than Tom Brady and the Bucks, I mean, Rich, you got to be loving this. The Bucks are loaded for bear. It looks like you're 5-2 halfway through the season.
Here's how I feel.
It's got to be better than you thought you'd be halfway through, right?
Yeah, because they're roughly halfway to about as many wins as I figured I figured they'd be 9-7, 8-8.
Yeah, you were screaming 8-8. You thought they were just on the way to 8-8.
You know, I was like, most I hope for playoff appearance, and then maybe next year a playoff win, and then Brady retires, and then God knows another 13, 14, 15 years of fucking not even making the playoffs. But no, I'm happy, but at the same time, I'm worried because they keep adding these fucking pieces in, and I'm just like, I don't know much about Antonio Brown outside of when he started showing his ass in Seattle, the whole fucking Raiders fiasco, and then the his cup of coffee for what, a week, 2 weeks, whatever it was with New England before he got that suspension. I just know he's a problem. And if hopefully it seems like he respects Tom Brady. It seems like if Brady says, hey, knock it the fuck off, he listens to him. Because, I mean, and now that I've seen, like, Cam Newton under Belichick lets players be themselves as long as they fucking perform and execute. So the fact that there was a problem with AB like there was tells me that he either wasn't doing his job or he wasn't executing properly. Meaning he's one of those, Michael Irvin, I don't block. I get paid to catch fucking
didn't
touchdowns.
He get cut because didn't his whole sexual assault thing, didn't he get signed to the Pats and then that sexual assault shit happened and then it just got too much for the Pats to deal with? And then, like, you gotta go. Your liability.
We gotta let you go.
I mean, the game he did play in, he caught a touchdown. He didn't miss a step. And I heard he showed up and he's fucking jacked. Like he's been like he's in game shape. I heard he impressed the Buccaneers with that. So I mean,
hey, I'll put your mind at ease, Rich. All right, TB played with Ocho Cinco and kept his ass at bay. AB ain't shit.
Yeah, dude, he turned Randy Moss into a fucking altar boy
for that one season, and then Moss started fucking Moss mossed. Yeah. He started acting a fool.
Well, you get a little cocky. You get a verb named after you, right?
Well, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like, Newton was getting in the camera, doing his Wakanda Forever shit, doing his little planned celebrations and all this shit. Belichick didn't give a fuck. Playing up to the cameras in the end zone. Belichick didn't give a single fuck. But when he went to that sideline, Belichick, hey, Newton, come here. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yep. Yes, sir. Yep. Okay. Run it just like you drew it up. And I'm like, well, there you go. Proof. But now what's happened? Newton won a little bit, got a little sick, and now he's kind of on the hot seat as their starter, even though who the fuck are they going to bring in to replace him?
Colin Kaepernick.
As a legit replacement. At this point, I wouldn't be shocked. I don't know. You got to remember, this is uncharted fucking waters for this entire era, a 20-year era of the Patriots. They've never been like this. Even when Brady went down with his knee that one year.
Dude, yeah, these are like the 90s Pats.
Not the ones that went to the Super Bowl against the Green Bay Packers either.
No, these are like the Patriots when you were when they were like, oh yeah, they're a team. I forgot they have a team. Like back when they still had I mean, it was, the Doug Flutie era. The era between the Pats that played in the '85 Super Bowl and when Brady showed up, it was not good. So but it's enough, jerking Tom off. I got a little on my chest here. What else is going on in the NFL?
Well, I mean, if we're gonna go from jerking one team off, we should really go to a team who deserves the hand job.
Oh, we're going to Three Rivers Stadium.
There you go.
Yeah,
there it is.
Every fucking year, guys.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Yeah, Week 9, we're talking about the only undefeated team in the NFL is Pittsburgh. With what offense?
I dare you to say, who did they play?
With what offense? Juju has been a massive disappointment this year. James Conner has been meh. Big Ben is taking a page out of the Tom Brady playbook and making stars out of fucking nobodies at receiver.
Absolutely. Yes.
Like, who the fuck is Chase Claypool? Well, he's caught a lot of fucking touchdowns this year. That's who he is. I mean,
well, I'm looking at Ben Roethlisberger going, well, where the hell you been?
Right?
But this is what we do every fucking year on this show, dude. Oh, that's it, Big Ben. Oh man, he put on weight, this and that. He ain't gonna have it this year. Blah 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 blah. And then every year they're in the mix. There's even a fucking national story floating around about how Tomlinson, people in the organization feel he doesn't get the respect and credit he deserves for everything he's done for that organization for the last decade.
Pittsburgh has been everybody thought when Cowher left that was it. It's over. Sell the stadium, sell the team, trade everybody. He has kept Pittsburgh as contenders every fucking year since Cowher's been gone. And we're not at the point. It's like, Bill who? This is Tomlin's team.
And not just that, dude. He blew up a fucking all-star team.
Yeah, he had two of the best position players on his team and said, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, it was the Killer Bees.
Yep.
And they started leaving, and people were like, that's it. It's all over.
Yeah.
And you got the ghost of Christmas, Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, you're right. That was the second time. Second time where people are like, yep, it's done. It's over.
Yeah,
I would agree with whoever said that, Rich, because
I do too.
Deserves a lot of fucking credit.
This is a rare moment on this show. All three of us agree on something. Yeah.
Well, when I heard the premise of the article, I was like, I want to know who's saying that he ain't shit. Because I'll tell you what, over the last 10 years, I'm going to go ahead and say there's probably about 23 teams that take him as their head coach over who they've had.
Quick, fast, and in a fucking hurry.
Easy. Dallas should take him in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Fucking Green Bay would have took him in a heartbeat. Mike McCarthy isn't exactly the coach, the player-friendly coach that we've been, conditioned to believe he is, apparently.
But whoever the fuck his defensive coordinator is, he should have been fired 4 games ago. But anyway, we're talking about the Steelers.
But I mean, like, it's just, dude, I mean, and then just, perennial basement dwellers or teams that, have a flare-up once every 5 years, 5 to 10 years. I'd have took him as my Bucs head coach.
Yeah.
Shit. I swear to God, I thought we were getting like a version of Mike Tomlin. Is it like maybe like, a little bit older version of Mike Tomlin when they brought Lovie Smith in and they sent his ass packing in after one season. I was like, really?
If I heard
that asshole from Rutgers got 3 years as a head coach, really?
If I heard the Detroit Lions sign Mike Tomlin as their head coach, I'd be hard for like 3 days.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you what. If Detroit did hire someone like Mike Tomlin, you'd be hard until you found out he fucking sent half the team packing.
Right. I mean, that's
what I'm saying.
That's not the only thing that Tomlin had to deal with. There was, remember the phone in the dressing room?
Yeah, that was Antonio Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many different things. The Ben Roethlisberger case with the woman. His motorcycle thing, there were so many things that Tomlin had to deal with, but yet Pittsburgh still in the top standing.
The only undefeated team in the NFL, and made Baltimore look like a bunch of bitch asses for trying to come at him last Sunday.
Well, those two teams enjoy making each other look like bitches.
Yeah,
those two teams
hate each other. With
yes,
that is the equivalent of the Red Wing. Avalanche.
Yeah, kinda, because for a minute there, back in the 2000s, it was Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. Because remember when T.J. Houshmandzadeh sat down after winning that game?
Oh yeah,
with the terrible towel and started shining his shoes, and he goes, "That's what I think of your fucking towel," and threw it at the camera. They were like, "Hope we see you in the playoffs." They did.
Well, remember when
Perfect with the hit?
Yeah, Perfect tried to kill Antonio Brown.
Serious talk there.
No,
I never seen a player go so limp so quick in my fucking life, dude. I was like, damn, he killed him.
I remember going, oh shit, he might be dead. I remember actually having that thought, like, oh shit, we might.
It turned into the longest yard for a minute.
No, I thought it was like, oh,
neck. I think he broke his fucking neck.
I remember having a thought like, oh, is this about to be like? Funny you brought it up. Is this about to be like the NFL's version of Owen Hart? Like I remember like seeing it hit. Like, god damn.
Whoever's listening, if you haven't seen the hit from Burfict on Antonio Brown, you need to go Google that shit.
Yeah, dude, it's all over the internet.
It is horrifying.
Well, you guys are talking a lot more recent. I'm talking. This was the year they went to the Super Bowl here in Detroit.
Oh, damn.
That's the year 15 years ago. Cincinnati and the Steelers used to go at each other like that because they hated each other. And that's when fucking Joey Porter, oh shit, Chad, who was their fucking Cincinnati's quarterback back then? Mid 2000s.
Palmer.
Yeah, Carson Palmer.
Carson Palmer. Yeah, one of their tackles got taken out at one of the defensive linemen. The Steelers got taken out the knees. A guy rolled up into him, and the lineman basically jumped to save his knees, fell into fucking Palmer, and blew Palmer's knee out in that playoff game at the beginning. And then Kitna come in. And Joey Porter was like, I was about to get ready to feel sorry for him because they lost Palmer and they were going to have to depend on Kitna. Then they started saying that we purposely went after Palmer and went after his knees. And I was like, well, fuck you then. You're about to lose. I know you don't think you're going to win with Kitna. And he goes in. So I just laughed at their sorrows in their face and went out there and kicked the shit out of them. And I was like, yep, that's hatred. That's hatred.
I mean, you're talking about a linebacking core that you even saw the roster before the game even began, and you're like, oh, God, no. You did 7 Hail Marys and 2 Hello Fathers going, please save me.
Don't let him hit me, coach. I don't want to get hit.
Yeah, that was an unnecessary roughness moment. Run behind the referee. Blow the whistle. Blow the whistle.
Yeah. But yeah,
Steelers, they unless there's a fucking epic meltdown, they're in the hunt. They're in the mix. And welcome to almost every fucking year we've been on the air.
Let's say, how many times have we said this while we've been doing this show? The Steelers once again showing you defense, big part of the equation, because that's really how they're getting it done.
You realize this is the fifth
damn, Rich, why did you have
season?
to say that?
What?
Now I feel guilty.
What about what?
About Tomlinson, because we're sitting here blowing Bill Belichick for years and not just giving the big ups to Tomlinson like we should have. Because is.
I've swung from his nuts. I've dick rode Tomlinson enough to where I feel comfortable. I'm okay with everything I've said. But no, we realize we've been this is our 5th season.
God damn.
5th NFL season.
Yeah.
I feel like we just started the show.
But
yeah, it's
so okay. And then let's just get this out the way. And there's really not much to talk about besides the fact that no one wants to win this division. That's the NFC East.
Well, first of all, Dallas. Whoa. Yikes.
I don't know what the fuck is going on in Dallas, nor do I give a fuck.
Bad luck, dude. They broke a mirror while they were walking under a ladder trying to get out of the way of a black cat.
Hey, Ice.
That's what went on in Dallas.
You think Dak's worth that fucking money now? I'd say he's worth fucking every penny he wants to get paid.
Really? Because his right foot's pointing all the way around to his back.
Well, but I'm saying, like, life without Dak has been like, oh my God, Jerry Jones has got to be like, there's more games. There's a whole fucking season. We have to finish this shit. Like, that's
all right. We got Andy Dalton. Whack. Oh, no, we don't.
Well, and we were talking about it.
Well, no, because here. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I'll just say we were talking. Just want to mention, like, the game where we were talking about McCarthy, the game where Dak threw 5 touchdowns and 500 yards and they still lost, that should have been the game they fired the defensive coordinator. I don't care if it's your fucking 2nd or 3rd game. You're done. I'd be embarrassed to be on that coaching staff. Your quarterback had, like, one of the best days a quarterback has ever had, and you still lost because your team could not hold the other offense.
Maybe I'm reading too much into this, but everything that I feel that I need to know about Dallas this year was when Dalton got hit. like he did, and nobody from that team stood up for their quarterback. Everybody acted like business as usual. That's not a team on the same page. That's not a team on the same page.
Because they treated Andy Dalton's head like it was a basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, he's all but done.
He got hit so hard he got
COVID.
Know
where he is.
Like, that's his headline this week, too. He's on the COVID list now. Like, from concussion protocol to COVID. Like, alrighty.
I mean, I'll tell you this.
That old commercial. Who are you? I'm Batman. Oh, okay.
I've played enough pickup sports, drop-in sports, to where I've played with people who I can't stand. But if someone took that cheap of a shot against them, I don't care if we're playing roller hockey, we're playing fucking pickup baseball. You come slide in the second, and you got your fucking feet up around my second baseman's nuts, and you slide into him like that, you getting fucked up, whether I hate the guy or not. Like, and there ain't shit on the line for those games except for just pride. So I'm just like, why? I don't understand why they are not stomping the shit out of that entire fucking team. Why the Cowboys en masse didn't just walk across the field and just start fucking like all of a sudden after that hit, you should have heard glass breaking and da 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 da, and then just fucking the whole team just starts smashing beer cans.
Stone Cold comes out of the tunnel in a Coors beer truck.
On the sideline, going,
dude. I'm gonna switch gears.
Dallas Cowboys 360 says we gonna whoop your ass.
I'm gonna switch gears because it fits the narrative. Did you guys see the fucking Chicago Bears game? Out of left fucking field,
those two dudes.
Receiver comes up out of nowhere, dude. Wims comes up and just turns the guy around and cold cocks him. I'm like, And the guy looked at him, and then he hit him again. I was like, dude. His teammate come over and jumped over his back and fucking landed on Wims. I'm like, his teammate reacted before he figured out you just got hit twice. And I have no idea why.
But the NFC East, dude, what a shit show. Every team is in horrible shape. The Eagles have no receivers. Looks like the Carson Wentz experiment is over. Dallas is just fucked without a quarterback. Washington's Washington. And good lord, and the Giants. Good lord, the Giants. My best guess who comes out of that division? Probably Philly. Simply because it looks like they have Travis Fulgham looks like he's going to be a thing. And Miles Sanders, when he's healthy, is Miles Sanders. So, I mean, just what? This is the NFC East of the early 2000s, though, right? I mean, this is just...
Well, yeah, pretty much. Except for the Giants went to the Super Bowl in 2000.
No, I should say the early 2010s. My bad. Like the early part of the decade we just finished.
Yeah, when Eli Manning was just coasting.
You know, we're not that far many years out. What would when they were the Redskins at the time, so I guess I can say it. And whatever, fuck you if you got a problem with it. They were 7-9 and won the division. Just what is with this? Is this division cursed? Do they need to realign? What's going on?
Yes,
all the big superstars are going other places. There's really no superstars in that division at all.
They should not be allowed. There should be a caveat for the playoffs this year. Yeah, there's an extra spot, but you got to be over 500 to make it. NFC East would be disqualified. What else before we make the picks? We're already about 3 hours in.
Well, let me just, once again, it happens ever so often on this show. Chris, you are so fucking right, and without argument from anybody ever.
Go on.
Los Angeles Chargers, you have yourself a future.
Dude, that kid is Rookie of the Year. Who else is going to be Rookie of the Year?
Nah, I can't think of one.
Who the hell was even drafted first this past draft? Who was the first?
Joe Burrow.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. Well, he's on Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
Sorry about your luck.
Yeah, I don't care about anybody else. Herbert can throw. The cat's got game, man.
Dude, no, he's not scared. That's what I'm impressed with that kid. No matter what situation you see him in, dude, he just nuts up and he goes for it. Whether he wins or he loses, dude, that kid just goes for, I mean, and that's the stuff. I mean, it's cliche, whatever. That's the stuff legends are made of. That's the stuff that's going to get you into a Hall of Fame.
No, I'm with you right there, man. That guy does not. He don't flinch.
Well, and that's what I was making fun of him for at the beginning of the season. But now I'm like, well, maybe he's just big. I don't know.
I'm not.
He doesn't slide. He doesn't slide. He'll take a hit.
I want to keep this in the football realm. So, Ice, slow your roll here. But the knock on LeBron is he doesn't have that killer instinct, right? When it's the last minute of the game, he's generally the guy you don't want to have the ball in his hands because he's not going to be that guy. Herbert, now back to football. Herbert, just looking at that kid, he's got that killer instinct. He's going, win or lose, he's going for it. Down 3 touchdowns, 2 minutes left, doesn't matter. I'm putting another score on the board because fuck you. Don't care if it's mathematically impossible for me to win. He's going to go down swinging.
Yeah, because what if? That's why.
Well, that's what you should.
I've watched him, and I'm like, I watched an entire game with him the other day, and I'm like, good God, this kid. And he doesn't care who's around him. If he has stars, if he has help, he doesn't care. He just wants to play and play hard and play all fucking day.
No, I thought you were going to tell. Oh, go ahead.
See, that's the type of quarterback you draft. You see how he's playing. You see how yes, it's frustrating. They're losing games like they are, but they're losses that at least give you hope for the future.
Yes. If I'm an LA Chargers fan, I'm looking at those going like, I ain't mad at this season. We're going to be fine. If this is this kid getting his legs under him, bring on next season.
Exactly.
Well, that's why I said, LAC, you have a future. And your defense needs some work. You got, a couple pieces missing on offense, but your quarterback is just fine.
And who the fuck knows? We could be sitting here in 8 weeks talking about, hey, the last time the Chargers lost was week 8. So like what you just said, hey, what if? So who even knows? This could be him just getting warmed up and he's about to turn this shit on, make Mahomes look like a bitch the next 8 games. Who knows?
Yeah, that's probably not going to happen.
Right.
Dude.
Now, Ice,
that's real quick, dude. That cat is not a fluke by any stretch of anybody's imagination.
Mahomes, I think we're about to see the Chiefs go on a run. Like they had to draw out of Super Bowl trophies in Kansas City. They're about to get a few more.
Well, I mean, he's got a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. He started a column C because he's throwing at people that are big, right? Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce and whatnot, but he's making people like Hardman, Robinson, people you were like, wait, who? Well, he's doing it all.
Oh yeah, we talk about it on the fantasy football, and the fantasy hack available here on ChristopherMedia.net. It's in the Sporty feed, comes out every Wednesday. We talk about the Chiefs receiver. The only Chiefs receiver you want is Cheetah, because just pick someone every week. Mahomes makes him a star. Yeah, Cheetah's always going to get at least one touchdown, but it's going to revolve every other week who the other person is. Kelsey's always getting a touchdown too. Watkins. But so yeah, sometimes Watkins when he's healthy. It's Mecole Hardman. It's it was somebody
Robinson,
else.
The second.
This week he did some dude I never even fucking heard of. Caught a touchdown. Probably some guy was on the practice squad 2 weeks ago. So I mean, yeah, that's Kansas City's on a run, man. I think we're seeing something historic with them. And real quick before we make the picks, Ice, I thought you were going to tell me that I was right because all I want to say is New Orleans Saints 5-2 and without Michael Thomas.
New Orleans is not going far. I promise.
I'll say this: I'm not taking it back for the first handful of games of the season because look at the stats. I wasn't wrong. Breeze wasn't making deep pass attempts, and when he was, he wasn't even 50% on them. But I will say this: he's the type of guy that he needs that preseason and that fucking camp to get his arm in shape. Maybe because he's just not as young as he used to be. He has to fucking loosen it up. He has to get his rhythm back or get his rhythm set because, well, God knows you try something when you're 18 and then go to try to do it at 40.
Oh God,
and it's a little different. You know what I'm saying? Like even something is people think is benign as playing a guitar. Oh, the muscle memory's there, but the calluses aren't. The speed isn't. The touch isn't exactly the same.
The joints in your fingers aren't as nimble as they used to be.
Yeah. Whereas you knew when to lighten up on the pick attack and to lean into the pick attack. Now you're just hammering away like a fucking beginner, and you're like, God damn it, I know I'm more graceful than this on a guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, because you haven't played it in fucking for a while. Oh, and by the way, you're 40. You don't bounce back like you did when you were 18.
Yeah.
So it's not like riding a bike.
But say 5 and 2. 5 hours, that's the length of the show. 5 and 2 without their biggest offensive weapon. Come on, man. He ain't dead yet.
Well, yeah, but dude, he's not dead, but he's running off the field and letting Hill come in for him. He's done, dude.
Hey.
He's hanging on by a very soft thread.
You call him done? 5 and 2 without his big. If Michael Thomas was playing, they might be undefeated.
Dude, half the game he's not in there. You have another quarterback sitting there.
Hey.
Big third downs where you need a running quarterback. Where's Drew Brees? Chilling on the sideline.
His job's to get the W. Well, no, you just hand it to Kamara. Kamara's been fucking otherworldly this year. That's the other thing.
I know, I got him in our league.
Yeah. So, yeah, anything else in the NFL? Or should we go on and make the picks?
Well, I was about to tell you guys I got to go, but I mean, if you guys want to do picks, that's fine. I doesn't really matter to me. It's not that exciting of a fucking segment of the show, but yeah, I kind of got to go here, so.
Oh.
It's up to you two what you guys want to do. If you guys want to continue on, do the picks, fine. If not, we can do a sign off. It's all up to you guys.
We'll just end, and then we'll do the picks. I'll make a little survey, and I'll send it out. We'll do it that way this week. Just to update, based on the last time we picked, I'm at 721 percentage. Ice, you're at 639. Rich, you're at 578. Everybody had a good week. Rich, you and I went 8 and 6. Ice, you went 9 and 5. So that's where we're at. We'll make the picks.
Haven't we flipped last year? Wasn't it last year me ice you, like how it ended?
Yeah.
And now it's like you ice me.
Mm-hmm. Any given Sunday, baby.
Hey, at least I'm consistent.
Yeah. So thanks for hanging in there with us. It's been a crazy year. We haven't been the most consistent, but whatever. We're here. We're doing it. We're talking sports. It's nice to have sports to talk about. Follow us on Twitter at Sporgy Podcast. And like us on Facebook. We're on email us, sporgypodcast, ChristopherMedia.net, which is where you go. You hit the Amazon banner while you're doing all your Christmas shopping if you want to help us out. Doesn't add anything to your bill. We get a couple extra bucks. Win-win. Or if you're just in a giving mood, you just hit the PayPal banner. Give us a couple bucks that way. And then you can check us out. Besides being on Amazon Music Podcast now, Audible is in the podcast game. You can find us there. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, Stitcher. If it catches a podcast, we are there. We thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
All right, later, guys.
Peace out, y'all.
Se siente bien saber que cuando le pones sirope a tu Big Breakfast with Hotcakes de McDonald's, tú controlas dónde cae. Verlo acercarse a tu biscuit y rodear tu salchicha calientita, y luego llegar a tus hash browns, y finalmente a tus huevos revueltos, dándoles el sabor dulce del maple, exactamente como te gusta. Que fluya el sirope. Para pa pa pa.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.